Well, good afternoon. Coming to you live from Moret Stadium, home of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears. This afternoon, the 2021 spring football season kicks off between the bricks. Hi, I'm Juju Phillips, along with my Hall of Fame broadcast partner, Jack Huss. This afternoon, the Bears take on Barton College. For the first time in 70 years, these two schools are meeting each other, and we're glad you are aboard here today. Jack, it's been a long time. A lot of things have changed over the last 470 days or so, but the Bears are back between the bricks, and it feels kind of comfortable.
It sure does. I talked to Coach Jacobs just a few minutes ago out on the field, and he was so excited because it's been a long time for him. They've played one game, and it was on the road, but for him and the coaching staff and for this assemblage of players that are put together, which is, as we'll talk about as the game goes along, doesn't look anything like, outside of the defensive line, it doesn't look anything like what we left here in 2019.
So when you look at this football team and this football program, as I said, a lot of things have changed to come to start this March afternoon here in 2021. But what are you expecting today to see from the Bears in their first home appearance?
Well, hopefully, Barton is in the first year of their program, and as I went up and down the lineup today and looked at it, it's mostly freshmen and redshirt freshmen that came in last year in practice and did not play games. They've played two games, losing to Erskine, who's in the first year of their program as well, another team that Lenoir-Rhyne played way back, many years ago. And then they played Wingate, and that was not a good game to play with. And then they got stuck with the Bears, who've got somewhat of a veteran team too. So I think what we'll see is that Coach Jacobs will hopefully, as last week, we can get out to a big lead like Wingate did. And then he can kind of experiment. He can see some players. He can give everybody. Some of these young men have been practicing for a long time without ever being in a game. Yeah. Some of them didn't play last week. So it'd be great to get everybody in the game and then experiment a little bit, because once we get through this one, hopefully with a win, then we hit the big one next week.
Yeah, and when you talk about guys that we'll see for the first time, we didn't see last week, record-setting quarterback Grayson Willingham expected to start this afternoon. We haven't seen Grayson since December of 2019.
That's true, and Grayson had a fantastic year last year. This offense, I'm kind of interested to see how he fits, how they try to use him in this offense, because we know what he did in years past. We saw last week something that we have not seen a lot of, and that was a little more just kind of straight drop back passing. Most of what Grayson had done prior to that was play action, rolls, bootlegs, things like that. But, when he comes out on the field and he's out here, the pressure's on because he got his picture right up there on the wall.
They do.
That's going to be tough.
They do. Hey, one thing we saw in the Bears' victory last week against Newberry, sometimes you see, no matter what time of the year, early in the season, unusual plays. The Bears scored a touchdown through the special teams, had an interception in the second half that scored for a touchdown. The offense only had one score themselves, but the Bears made some plays in the other areas and aspects of the team.
I thought it was a complete game for the Bears last week, particularly when you're talking about the first game of the season. They came out and blocked a punt, got a touchdown. They intercepted a pass, got a touchdown. Had a good offensive drive that set up the field goal right before half. That kind of got overlooked because it was just a field goal, but that was a pretty good offensive drive. The one blemish I thought I was worried a little bit about is we had a great drive there one time in the third quarter, took it down the field, got about to the 5-yard line, went for it on 4th and short, and didn't make anything. And that disturbed me a little bit, because we've got to make those 4th and shorts down on the goal line. That's something that we have to be good at.
The defense played well last week. They have a veteran unit up front, led by Dan Luba and Amari Houston and Quentin as well. And those guys did a great job. But offensively, took a while to get going, but they had a great performance out of their freshman running back.
Yeah, the freshman running back McGee and also the linebacker Pate had a fantastic game statistically, but you kept watching him out there and he just made plays. But I think part of that is that they were not able to block those 4 guys up front. If our 4 guys up front can occupy 5 of them, those linebackers are going to get a lot of opportunities to make tackles, and they did. It's a young defense in some areas, but we have the steadiest, most outstanding front line in the league right now going into next fall, because we keep forgetting we're only going to play 4 games this spring, and then we're going to have to do it all over again in September. So we'll see what we see this spring, and whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, what happens from here on out, it's going to lead us into a real full schedule in next fall, and that excites me even more because a lot of these young freshmen, they'll still be freshmen next fall.
Yeah, absolutely. We're glad you're aboard watching us here this afternoon. For my broadcast partner, Jack Huss, I'm Juju Phillips. Stay tuned. We'll come back with today's starting lineups and the kickoff to this afternoon's game, Barton College against Lenoir-Rhyne. Back after this. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Our decision as a conference last Thursday to cancel the spring season was not made lightly.
And Juju Phillips along with Jack Huss, moments away from kickoff this afternoon for the 2020-2021 spring season home kickoff as the Bears play host to Barton College. First time Barton's fielded a football program since 1950. But Jack, coming in, this will be the 10th meeting between the two. Lenoir-Rhyne has never lost to Barton. They've won the first 9 matchups.
Yeah, Atlantic Christian College is what it was known as back in the day, as we like to say. And they announced their football, I think, 3 years ago and hired a veteran, Chip Hester, who had coached at Catawba for a number of years. And Chip came in and recruited for a year, brought players in, practiced for a year. So on their roster, you see a lot of redshirt freshmen, meaning they're freshmen, but they were there last year practicing, just didn't play any games.
He's been a head coach before, as you mentioned, that at Catawba had a really impressive record, 70-49 in his years for the Indians. As you see Lenoir-Rhyne coming out on the field today, Bears in home black. It's been a long time since last year, 2019, when the Bears came out in all black. But this time it's with the new helmets, and they're pretty impressive as well. And one thing we pointed out, Jack, it's going to be, and for even fans watching, it's going to be easier to keep up with the Bears because those numbers are in white and they're easier to read even from up here.
They probably listen to some of our broadcasts and we talked about, we after a while you sort of even the fans, you sort of pick out players by the way they run or the positions they play, that kind of thing. But when you're talking about the interior guys making tackles, sometimes by the time they get up and move around, it was really hard to tell sometimes who it was.
Bears have 5 captains for the game today, and you see Grayson Willingham out shaking the hand of the captain for Barton. Willingham didn't play last week, did not start. Got to tip your cap to Sean White, came in as a true freshman, third-string quarterback, and really performed pretty well in the second half and threw a game-winning touchdown pass that gave the Bears that overtime win, 27-20. But Grayson, one of the captains today, the super senior. Lenoir-Rhyne has won the toss and looks like see what happens here with Barton. And I think Bears win the toss.
They're going to take the ball.
They want the football. And they'll get that veteran unit out there. Also captains today, Amari Houston, Preston Joseph, Bears record-setting kicker Chase Albaugh, along with center Blake Jefferson. So LR will go on offense first. Let's get the starter set for you. You saw Grayson Willingham, the record-setting quarterback out of Matthews and Weddington High School, will get the nod today. At center, one of the co-captains, Blake Jefferson, the sophomore out of Tucker, Georgia. 2 guards today will be Dylan Foster and Curtis Feeney, along with Xavier Jennings, and I believe Isaac Chapman will get the start at guard today, out of sophomore out of Alexander Central High School in Taylorsville today, get his second straight start as a collegiate. And also up front will be Ian Brinson. Tight end is John Goodwin, another freshman. The Bears are going to start, I think, 8 or 9 freshmen today on both sides of the football. Impressive running back for the Bears. They come out with Dwayne McGee. He's a freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida. Had a great game last week, 30 carries for 160 yards, the most by a running back in a debut in a Lenoir-Rhyne uniform since the modern era in the NCAA began back in 1993. Wide receivers this afternoon expected to be Kellen Parsons and DeAndre Lester. Ryan Carter will also be at wide receiver here this afternoon. So the Bears, as you said, come out in all black with the red helmets. Or those Cardinal helmets? How would you describe those?
Well, that's one of the very difficult things about using red, Cardinal. There are just so many different variations. And what one company that makes helmets calls Cardinal, another company would call that another shade of red.
And
so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and it's got a nice shine to it. You're right.
Well, those are shiny, which if they were more of a matte look, I believe they would be more of the Cardinal that we're kind of used to because – you see a lot of the Cardinal way back. It was so dark, it was almost black. It was a dark red. But, hey, we'll take it. These uniforms look great, and we can see the numbers. I'm excited, if nothing else, about that.
And the Bears coming into this game have won 11 straight here between the bricks at Moret Stadium and 22 straight regular season wins in a row. And it's been a while. I think you got to go back to the 2013, 2014, 2015 seasons where the Bears have won that many games in a row. One of the longest winning streaks in school history. So we're ready to kick it off this afternoon. We're glad you are aboard. Pull up a chair if you're at home. Grab a cold one and sit in on the Bears Sports Network this afternoon. Of course, our game's being brought to you by MBA Roofing. And we have a game sponsor today being Fry Regional Medical Center. We got a special guest coming up at halftime. Their CEO will be talking with us this afternoon. But we're ready to go as Barton kicks it off. BC's Bulldogs, and the Bears get it at the 15. Returning the football across the 30, across the 35 is Carter. He's got some space at midfield, and he'll take it deep into Barton territory. At about the 40 goes Ryan Carter, a nice junior out of Ringgold, Georgia. Played the wing back in that old offense for the Bears. Had a good season last year, and this time he returns the kick.
Two interesting things, Juju, right off the bat. Number one is I believe we won the toss and elected to take the football, which is a little most of the time when you win the toss, you defer. The second thing was Barton chose to kick into the wind. I don't know if they hadn't checked it, but those flags down there, that kick only got to about the 15-yard line. It was not and he hit it pretty good. It's just into the wind. So interesting they chose that.
Bear new offense in the gun. McGee to the left of Willingham. They'll send a man in motion. Well, jet sweep. This goes to Lester. He gets the first down and deep into Barton territory. Does a little gymnastics, leap over inside the 10. Down to the 7 goes Lester. DeAndre Lester had a fine freshman year last year. The sophomore now out of Washington, Georgia. Gets the Bears off on the right foot on a jet sweep.
Yeah, one of the things that you noticed there was they had a cornerback or a linebacker one up. He was in great position to make the tackle, and he just flat missed him. I mean, if he makes that play, that's a no-gainer.
Now, is that a pistol formation right there?
It would be called that.
Okay, and there's McGee with the handoff, and he'll take it up the middle. He'll get it down to about the 3, goes Dwayne McGee. Again, you got to go back, Jack, to 2007 when James Pone had 123 yards rushing against, I believe, Kentucky State. Maybe it was Virginia Union, but first time in a Bear uniform at running back, McGee with a school record 160 yards. Carried it 30 times.
Yeah, he got a bunch of carries, and we needed him in the second half. Boy, it was a great second half for the offense.
Cody Osborne goes in motion. They give it to McGee again. And this time he stacked right about the 3 on 2nd and goal. Short yardage.
Talking with Coach Jacobs before the game, the Bears use the zone blocking scheme primarily, and they run inside. That was what you call the midline. They ran that one more between the guards. Then they run it a little bit wider, and then they run it all the way to the outside. We saw all 3 last week, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing today. And you got 3rd and goal, an interesting play right here.
So they'll send Lester to the right again. Willingham in the gun, McGee to his right. Grayson will throw, steps up, and he'll try to run. Spins down inside the 3, and he'll get it to about the 1. Grayson Willingham that time. We don't normally see him scramble and run with the football, Jack, but that time he tried to get in the end zone and get into the 1.
Yeah, and right off the bat, Coach Jacobs, no hesitation. Field goal team, Chase Alba is out there to kick the field goal.
All-time leader in points, passing Colin Corp last week in that win in overtime over Newberry.
That's a big win for the Barton defense. That'll give them a little bit of an excitement, enthusiasm.
Kick, a 19-yarder, is up and good. And the punter is also the holder. Look good, and the Bears get on the board first. They take the ball down the field and score 3-0 for Lenoir-Rhyne as the Bears have it with 12:34 to go here in the first quarter. We'll take a timeout, step aside, back with more. This is the Bears Sports Network presented by MBA Roofing.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
It's the drive chart. He remembered. That's great. Thanks.
Back here, Bears get on the board. This time the kickoff by Norwood goes out of bounds. That'll put the ball to 35 now for Barton. Bears scoring drive being presented by Southside Power and Fitness provides an exclusive discount of almost 50% off for all Lenoir-Rhyne faculty, staff, and students. Don't forget, experience what Southside has to offer at southsidepf.com. Bears scoring drive once again, 5 plays after the opening kickoff. They march it down the field in 38 yards. Takes a little over 2 minutes. Chase Albaugh kicks the field goal, a 19-yarder. The Bears on top here, 3-0. So here comes the Bulldogs, BC Bulldogs, Barton College. As you mentioned, formerly Atlantic Christian. First time since they've had tackle football since 1950.
Coach Jacobs mentioned both the quarterback and the running back, 0 and 1. He said they both have ability. They're quick. They move around. He said they can cause you some problems.
Just a quick handoff. Bears stack them up the middle. When's the last time you seen a quarterback that wore the number 0?
Johnny Oshevsky. You remember Johnny Oshevsky?
No, I do not.
Played for the Washington Redskins. With the name Oshevsky, they had to get him 0. He wasn't a quarterback, though.
I don't know if I've ever recalled a quarterback with 0.
Well, this offensive line is all, young players. They're going to have a real hard time blocking our guys up front. If they're going to move the football, it's going to be outside, through the air, some type of option play. It's going to be some trickery involved. They're not going to be able just to pound that ball inside.
They run the option this time, and Lynch with the football. Eric Jackson with the hit. Knocks him down, but the quarterback, Quan Lynch, he's out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Nice pickup, about 6 on the play. It's going to bring up second down and 3.
Coach Jacobs mentioned that too, Juju. He said, and we know what he's talking about. He said we got to have a lot of eye discipline. You have to pay attention and watch your keys. You can't try to watch the football. You'll lose it against an option offense.
This time in the gun, receivers or running backs to each side of the quarterback. 3 receivers out. They send 1 in motion. Flag. Lynch will drop back and fire it down the field. Another flag. This time it's going to go against, looks like, the Bear defense. Getting a start on defense. Haven't set the front line yet because we were told there could be some changes up front for Lenoir-Rhyne. We do know that Keegan Mayfield, a sophomore out of Maiden High School, number 26, is going to get the start at corner. That is maybe where the flag came.
Well, 28 Rashad Yelding is definitely out there. He's listed on the starting. And I saw Amari Houston. He's listed as a starter, and Willie Lane, 52. I see him out there. And then I was hoping it was going to be offsetting penalties. I wouldn't agree with this call down on interference. The receiver and the defensive back just kind of bumped into each other and tripped. Yeah, they're going to take the 15-yard penalty. So the Bears, I don't
know if he could have caught that ball anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it was Wilt Chamberlain out there.
Well, the problem for the Bears, they know what happened to this team last week. They know they're mostly freshmen. and the level of intensity you can see right now. It's not quite as high as it was last week for the first game and playing somebody like Newberry.
Another flag, and this time the quarterback taking it himself. He gets some space to the 30, 20, and nearly steps out of bounds before he's hit and knocked down by John Ross May.
He did step out. Yeah, you got that right, Juju.
So a good run by Lynch. Let's see if they call it back. Somebody may have moved up front again.
Well, the snap looked kind of funny. I don't know about you. I'm not sure who it's against.
Got some good blocking out on the edge. See if he stepped out there. He did at a 12-yard line before May came along, as you see, and cleaned
offside.
It up there.
Yeah, the Bears again offside.
Max Melton, the veteran official in the SAC, is doing the officiating today.
Did you notice the snap? It just looked funny. It looked like it almost floated back there. It didn't look like a good snap. But again, Coach Jacobs was right. These two backs, 0 and 1. I'll get the names as I get the opportunity here. 0 is the backup quarterback, listed as the backup, Jaquan Lynch.
This time he hands it to Terrell, and Bears meet him in the backfield.
See, they're not gonna have much success doing. They can't block that front four, I don't believe.
Lane and Houston.
What we've seen is the success plays they've had was the quarterback ride that thing, pull it, and run.
Willie Lane, transfer from Purdue. His brother, who's a running back out of Winter Haven, Florida, I think is part of the Bears' 2021 recruiting class, so it's going to be a couple of brothers here at LR next year. Lane made the stop with Houston, the veteran defensive lineman. It's time the quarterback steps up, pressured, and he'll go down right near the line of scrimmage. The Bears had him hemmed up and knocked him down. Yelding among those, number 98 right there, Preston Joseph, in on the stop, and there's Lane again getting up, 52.
You can tell he's not real comfortable as a drop back passer. You know, he gave it about 1,001 and a half, and he took off. He didn't keep his eyes downfield and look to throw the ball. He knows what he's good at, and that's scrambling and running. And a lot of quarterback. I thought the quarterback last week from Newberry was very similar to that. You know, he didn't stay in the pocket very long. He came out of there pretty quickly.
Bears really played good defense last week against Newberry. That sick 'em defense, and screen pass over here, and the Bears snuff it out. Again, the line. May. Yeah, the defensive player of the week out of Johns Creek, Georgia. One of those 9 freshmen starting today made the stop, so that's going to bring up a field goal situation here for the Bulldogs.
You know, the style of defenses today, too. You got 4 guys up front like they're studs like we got right now. Those linebackers can just roam around. They've got to block those front people, and there's only 5 blocking 4. And it helps those linebackers have an opportunity to make plays.
30-yard field goal by Graham Walton. Snap. And the Bears got a hand on it, but it wasn't close.
Looked like May in there again. He was
may have.
I don't know where he came from. You know, I was kind of looking for a fake. I mean, they got nothing to lose. You know, they're bigger underdogs than who was it beat Ohio State yesterday? Basketball.
Oh, in basketball, you're right.
Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
They're bigger underdogs than Oral Roberts was.
I think they probably, after going down the field like that and getting a couple of big runs, wanted to settle for some points.
Absolutely, and tie the game because we did the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, last week, Barton they got down 35-0 in the first quarter against Wingate. So the Bears have it right at the 20. Willingham hand it to McGee. Sweeping left, looks for a hole, gets it. Gets good yardage, too. At about 8-9 yards goes the freshman McGee. At 130 yards last week, 160 yards on 30 carries, and he's picking up once again. I don't know if you would call that a bell cow or not, but he's only 5'7", Jack, 5'7.5". But he is really toting the football right now for the Bears.
And he does a good job of utilizing his blockers. You can see right there, he followed the blocking well.
Give it to him again. Reverses his field. Lost the football.
Oh, wow.
Bears get a handle on it.
I just gave him a compliment, and then he did the exact wrong thing. The blocker was trying to push that guy to the outside, and Rashad tried to go to the outside, and there was no way. He had no room to run outside, and he ran right into the guy blocking. So Dwayne McGee, you know, has an excellent running back as a freshman, and he's going to get nothing but better.
Bryce Heidinger, the offensive lineman, sophomore out of Raleigh, is the one that pounced on the football for the Bears. They hold on possession. Third down now for LR, 3rd and 5.
5 wides.
Dumps it across the middle. Incomplete. Tried to go once again to Lester. He was going to be short of the first down, and so that's going to force a Bear punt here.
And this is a little bit somewhat like the game last week. The Bears started really slow offensively, although we did have a pretty good drive after the great kickoff return. But we started a little bit slow, and here again, the interesting thing for me will see the drop back pass game right there, because Willingham just stayed in the pocket, but of course he had no pressure. There was nobody within 5 yards of him when he threw that football. But he sort of, and I couldn't tell who was who, but it looked like there was room for the completion there. I don't know if the ball was behind him or the receiver actually got a hand on it. It's hard to tell, but it was not a very well run play. Same thing happened down here on the goal line. We used a drop back pass. Last week when we got down on the goal, I remember in the second overtime, it was a great play-action pass. I thought that was a heck of a call.
Bears got to blow timeout here because one of the players wasn't ready. They had to set him out on the field here for the punt team. So the Bears will take a
they took
a
the
timeout.
Penalty. Yeah. No, they took the penalty. They took the 5 yards. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the wind behind him, and he's a pretty good punter. That's Michael Owen.
He sure is, out of Georgia. Northview High School, Duluth, Georgia.
If he
gets a good roll, let's see. No, bounces straight up.
Yep.
And the Bears are going to down it at the 36-yard line. That's Percy King, freshman linebacker. Another transfer from Dominican College and University in Columbus, Ohio. Interesting about Percy King, he's an outside linebacker, Jack, and transferred here from Ohio. He's from Waxhaw, North Carolina, but his dad, who I think played in the NFL, his dad and Mike Jacobs were teammates at Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, he made a heck of a play on that interception
last week.
We got a TV timeout.
And we'll take a timeout. We'll step aside, come back.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found the expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Back here, Juju Phillips along with Jack Huss. Glad you're aboard watching on the Bears Sports Network. Our game today being presented by MBA Roofing and our game sponsor, Fry Regional Medical Center. I'm glad you're aboard here between the bricks here at Moret Stadium. Beautiful, almost a Chamber of Commerce fall afternoon, even though we're in the spring. It's nip in the air. High snap, ball's on the ground. Looks like to see who has the football.
Boy, the Bears, if the Bears don't get it, they missed a golden opportunity. They didn't get it. Wow, that ball bounced. There were about 4 guys dove on it, and I think they all hit each other. And the only guy standing around there for Barton was able to get in there and recover it.
We invite you, if you're in Hickory and or go online, Custom Design Group, the official apparel provider of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics. Check them out at lrwear.com. Once again, outfitting Lenoir-Rhyne athletes again this year. Glad you're aboard again listening and watching to Bears football today. Mike Jacobs making his home debut at Notre Dame College. He was a very impressive coach, Jack. 43 wins and 8 losses as a head coach at Notre Dame before being hired in January of 2019 by the Bears, replacing Drew Cronick. And here we go. Barton has the ball. It's going to bring a loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Again, quarterback Lynch. Quarterback draw. Has a little bit of space and has the first down. Rocky Mount, North Carolina freshman gets the yardage. About 12 on the pickup and up close to midfield.
You know, he's listed as the backup, Jaquan Lynch, 6 feet 185 freshman, as you said, from Rocky Mountain. And I tell you, Coach talked about him before the game. He said 0 and 1 both. He said those guys could play in this conference for anybody in our conference on what he saw in them last week.
Again, going to be an option. He'll keep it. Bears come up and make the stop. Joseph, along with number 32, and I was going to say Jaquan Artis, but that's Andre Jefferson, freshman out of Illinois. Makes the stop that time, and he plays, I guess, defensive end, defensive tackle. And now it's just almost throughout Jaquan Artis, who had a great career with the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears and had a great season in 2019.
Yeah, he played a hybrid type position where he was able to rush the passer. Sometimes could even drop and play pass defense. He did a lot of things.
2nd and 10, no yardage picked up, and this time look to throw. And all kind of time. Dumps it down the middle of the field. High catch, one-handed.
Great catch.
Yes, wow, what a nice catch.
You know what he's saying, too? He got up and ran that ball into the end zone. Yeah. We may see it on the replay right here. He landed on top of the guy that tackled him. I'm not sure he actually touched the ground. Let's see. See? It's hard to tell. Well, there he is. By the time he got up, he's on the ground. Yeah.
Maybe he was just celebrating as well, but great. Gabe
They're going
Hintzman
quick.
had a nice catch that time.
Going quick. Uh-oh. When you got 4 guys on the tackle and a flag comes in, it always makes you think it might be a face mask or something. Let's see what we got.
Hintzman, the guy that made the spectacular catch, is out of Salisbury, redshirt freshman. Went to East Rowan High School in North Carolina.
It's got to be against the Bears. Let's see what they come up with. We had 4 guys on the tackle. Personal foul, face mask, yeah. When you got 4 guys on the tackle and only 1 white shirt and the flag comes in, chances are it's not going to be against the team with the white jerseys right now.
Barton didn't get a lot going their way last week in that loss to Wingate. They got down 35-0. They made a couple of big plays already, some big splash plays, and they're now inside the 10, 1st and goal. Quarterback again, stretches in the end zone. Touchdown. Lynch. No, check that. That's Terrell. Jordan Terrell. Redshirt freshman running back out of Ramseur, North Carolina. Eastern Randolph High School stretches it into the end zone, and Barton has gone ahead of the Bears with 5:15 to go in the first quarter. Bulldogs lead here 6-3, and there's a man down for Lenoir-Rhyne on the field.
That could be Amari Houston. It looks like a 2 in the number, and I know 52's out there. Great. Boy, he stretched for it. Great job. But, the Bears, the intensity level is not quite as high as I said before. But also think about this. They're blocking a veteran line in there, and that's the first inside running play they had to gain anything. Everything they've made has been a draw outside, a quarterback scramble outside. They made nothing in the interior, and right off the bat, I believe we lost, was it Houston that went out? Did he go out of the game? I'm trying to see who.
No, I think that's Lane. Yep, that is Lane.
Okay.
That's Willie
Lane. He's up moving around a little bit better. That's good thing about the spring stuff is they don't have to take a chance. We're only going to play 4 games, and if a guy has to miss them, so be it.
Bears are a little bit hurt. Derek Young, who did not play last week, the all-conference wide receiver, out today, lower leg injury. He hopes to be back sometime this year. 2 games to go. Here's the extra point try. And I think Barton's got a little – Bears might have a chance to return it here. Let's see.
They got a chance if they get somebody with a little speed. No, couldn't quite pull it off. If he could have picked the ball up clean right off the bat, he may have had a chance.
We'll step aside, 6-3 now in favor of Barton after the touchdown run. 5:15 to go in the first. This is the Bears Sports Network presented by MDA Roofing.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found the expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle.
Back here, Barton College leading for the first time here this afternoon, 6-3 over the Bears. LR on the return. Again, nice return this time by Carter. His second return of the afternoon. Had a nice return on the opening kickoff and gives the Bears pretty good field position at about the 37.
I was thinking when the people playing in other venues look today and they see the score of this game, they're going to say, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, last week they were down 35-0 in the first quarter. Now there's 5 minutes to go, and they're in the football game. And you know, they're going to do that. They're very young, and they're going to play with a lot of enthusiasm. You give them a chance to make a play or two, they're tough.
This is McGee right up the middle. See if the Bears can get something, a sustained drive here. And McGee will get about 4 up over the 40. Second down coming. The Bear baseball team playing. We got some messages coming from some fans watching the Bear baseball team in Anderson, South Carolina today. Might want to keep us updated as well if they're watching on how the baseball team is doing today. LR off to a good start on the baseball side. Winning record right now. A little swing pass to McGee. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets the first down. Nice running by the freshman running back, Dwayne McGee.
And the versatility that he showed last week comes of, you know, they don't have to take him out. Now, they're not, you know, he may not be the greatest blocker in the world, but they're going to use him, you know, in the pass game, getting the ball just like that, a little swing screen kind of play.
Parsons and Lester out there, the wide receivers, got to give them a thumbs up for their blocking. Sprung him open there, got a little seam. Man goes in motion, the tight end.
Got 2 tight ends.
Osborne, yeah. Got Will Neal's in there, and he comes in motion. They hand it straight up the middle to McGee. He gets it over midfield and into BC territory at the 49. Short pickup of about 3.
Because the Bears use a one-back system, basically, you're not going to see many people carry the football besides the tailback. He'll line up in the pistol, as you called it before, and he'll be on either side of the quarterback. But they have to use these tight ends in motion and different formats, somewhat like we did in years past with the wingbacks to be blockers.
They'll send Lester in motion. Play action. Grayson has a man open. That's the tight end. First down. Good catch that time by Will Neal, redshirt junior out of Charlotte Catholic High School.
And that's what we know from watching for 3 years. We know what Grayson Willingham can do in the play action pass game. That's his bread and butter right there. He made a good inside fake there, and then all he had to do, and it was only like a 2 receiver route. I didn't see a whole lot of people down the field. The tight end and one other, about all I saw.
Play action on the draw. McGee springs it up the middle.
Oh man!
Puts his head down and gets another few yards down to the 15.
McGee,
he packs a punch.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, I don't know. You look at him physically from this far away, he doesn't look like he's, a big stud. He looks like he's quick. He's got some elusiveness about him. But, boy, he just hit that defensive back head on and knocked him backwards.
Another Everett Chevrolet first down. Here's a pass in the end zone. Touchdown. That's Kalen Parsons. Freshman out of King, North Carolina, West Stokes High School. Little slant pass across the middle or skinny post, and Willingham gets his first touchdown of the season. The Bears go back ahead.
And again, play action.
Beat double coverage, too. They went high and low on him.
Yeah, they had him pretty well covered. It was actually a pretty good throw there by Grayson, but an excellent job of going up and getting the football. You give your receiver a chance. If he's a good receiver, he'll go get it for you.
Extra point is good. So Parsons, who caught the game-winning touchdown last week in overtime against Newberry, scores here to put the Bears ahead. Your score now reads, it's Lenoir-Rhyne 10 and Barton College 6. We'll step aside. Come back with more. Your score, Bears on top. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Back here, Norwood will kick it off. Bears go ahead here. There's a high kick, very high. Let's see if the wind gets a hold of it. Return it over the 25, and the Bears make the stop. Good special teams play by Lenoir-Rhyne. Bears score touchdown, 6-play drive, 63 yards, being presented by Emerge Ortho, the official sports medicine provider for the Bears, with 45 locations in 21 counties. That is Emerge Ortho. So the Bears get the touchdown and go ahead here 10-6, a touchdown pass. Grayson Willingham to Parsons, and that was a nice little slant pass that time, wasn't it?
It sure was. I tell you, it was the play action game is what Grayson really excels at. When you can, if we can mount the running game and let him fake that ball, he can find receivers.
This time, Barton will take it straight up the middle. This is Terrell, redshirt freshman. Yelding on the stop for the Bears, getting the start today. Rashad Yelding, been in the program as a redshirt sophomore out of Daphne, Alabama. Pickup of about 4, 2nd and 6. Call it a long 3. Another delay handoff. Jackson comes up and meet and will get some help from some of his teammates, but not before. Another nice strong run by BC's Bulldogs.
He was real close to the first down. He just didn't get the fall forward. Now they're up there. They're going under center here. Probably a quick quarterback sneak. He didn't. Well, there he goes.
He might get a second chance. It's going to be close.
I don't. If he doesn't mark, if he marks it right where his feet are, he didn't make it.
Yelding down at the bottom of that pile for the Bears.
They're going to have to measure. He is not at the mark. He's got to get to that hash mark, and he's below that hash mark. It's going to be 4th down. Yeah. I thought he got it when he lunged there to end. We had him cold stop to start with. Are they going for it?
Why not? Run it on the outside.
Am I wrong? Isn't it 4th down?
Yeah. Like you said, they have nothing to lose.
I agree.
Might have to call timeout here.
Yeah, they got too many people running around and not. Yeah.
Hey, let's recognize some of our fine sponsors on board this year. I'm assuming they'll be on board in the fall as well, but we appreciate them being a part of the Bears Sports Network this year. Pepsi-Cola, locally owned and operated since 1925. Of course, Pepsi, born in the Carolinas, raised in Hickory. David E. Looper, looking for a general contractor, needs someone to count on. Call David E. Looper and Company at DELcompany.com. And Southeast Retirement Planners, they have been a part of the Bears Sports Network. And again this year, what is your game plan to reach your financial goals? Call the team at Southeast Retirement Planners. With LR alums Ryan Edwards, Les Stewart, and Bob Fincher, you can get your game plan in place. Just a few of the fine sponsors and supporters of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics again this year.
You know, we were talking about Barton. Wilson is where Barton's located. It's roughly halfway between Greenville, North Carolina, where East Carolina is, and Raleigh. And it used to be a very difficult trip. But if I'm not mistaken, they 4-laned the highway between Greenville and Raleigh now. So you can get to Barton a whole lot easier than you could at one time.
See,
of course, if you came from Erskine like Erskine did that first game, you can't get from Erskine to anywhere easily. That is a real chore.
There's a short pooch kick. Nobody back for LR.
Great job.
Yeah. Down to the 25.
I got to tell you that.
And that was the starting quarterback that had the kick right that time.
I discovered some old film that a friend of mine down in Pinehurst area had, and it was part of it was a 1967 Elon Lenoir-Rhyne game. It was a huge game, and they were running. Red Wilson had just come there. They were running. The only other ones running the single wing, but they ran kind of a shotgun single wing, and there must have been 5 or 6 quick kicks in that game. Both teams quick kicked. I mean, it wasn't just Lenoir-Rhyne. We quick kicked a lot. That was something we did.
Drop play to McGee. He'll get it between the tackles over the 25. Short pickup.
That's a gutsy play, too. Think about it. You know, their defense didn't have a great series the last time, but, you know, they gave up 35 points last week, and they're giving up 10 this week. So, you know, that's a gutsy play to kick that ball away and you know, put your defense back out there on the field.
Final minute of play in the first quarter. Bears trailed for a couple of moments, and here's a quick pass to one of the tight ends. That's another freshman, John Godwin, out of Jacksonville, Florida, freshman. And he takes and hauls it in close to a first down.
Is it Godwin or Goodwin? This one list there, let's see. It's got his name with 1 O.
I'm going to say Godwin.
It's Godwin, yeah. It's just got 1 O in it.
Bears do get the first down. LR's used about 3 different tight ends here this afternoon. Another pass over here, single coverage, and up
great
and
job there.
caught.
Great job.
Boy, what a nice catch. That's one of those another freshman, Michael McGee. Hakeem Meggett out of Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Freshman, 6'2". Coaches have spoke about him quite highly since they signed him last year.
End of the quarter.
End of the first quarter, Bears driving, leading. Your score, Lenoir-Rhyne 10 and Barton College 6. Back with more. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Celebrate great with Carolina West Wireless. Great new phones and a great customer experience, all on our great nationwide high-speed network. Stop by today and get big savings on select Samsung smartphones, like $350 off the Samsung Galaxy S20 and S20 Plus, and $350 off the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra. The great savings continue with 4 lines of unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. Celebrate great savings and go stay connected wherever your travels take you.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Start the second quarter. Juju Phillips with Jack Huss. Glad you're watching wherever you are today along the network. LR has it. Going left to right towards the end zone there. Closed in at the stadium, and handoff goes McGee. Let's get some stats now. That first quarter brought to you by McDonald's. Jack?
Well, five different players caught passes there for the Bears. Lesser for 32, Meggett for 21. McGee was the leading rusher, 8 carries for 34 yards, which this year there probably won't be a whole lot of saying, well, so-and-so and so-and-so. It's going to be the tailback, whoever that may be. Willingham, 6 of 7 for 103 yards and 1 touchdown.
Pickup of 5. Call it 6 now, 2nd and 4. Just inside the 40. Send it man in motion. Play action. Grayson steps up, plenty of time. Throws it across the middle.
Wow.
And here comes a late flag.
And if you saw what I saw, it had to be a flag somewhere down there. Number 4 tried to make a move across the field, and the defensive back just blocked him. He just completely blocked him off.
Give us a geography lesson. Where's Moncks Corner, South Carolina?
Is it not
Charleston?
Down there toward Charleston area.
Okay. I may have asked you that before. I think we played Newberry. They may have had a couple of kids from Moncks Corner. I like that name, by the way.
That's one thing Newberry has always done. They have recruited South Carolina, and, of course, they're not far from Georgia. They've recruited South Carolina and Georgia very well.
You know, with no high school football in North Carolina in the fall, I noticed that the Bears' new recruiting class that will be on board in the fall of 2021 They did a lot of recruiting, Jack, in upstate South Carolina, and a lot of guys came from South Carolina and Georgia.
Well, and part of that was that South Carolina and Georgia played football.
Yeah.
So they were able to see them and get a better handle on those guys. So, that's not surprising. And both those states are known for their football.
Bears get the first down. They'll hand it off to McGee. He has a hole. 15, tries to tightrope down the sidelines. Gets the first down, though, inside the 10.
It kind
so
of
some
looks
good
like
balance.
It's beginning to look like a little bit like, Barton said, okay, we played hard and we were in the game, but, now, I don't know. We may need to get a whole lot better here quick.
First and goal now for LR.
And I'm sure Coach Hester, he knows how to coach football. I'm sure he's probably using a lot of players. He's wanting to evaluate. This is evaluation time for him before they really get into it next fall. These guys are getting 4 games of experience, or 5 games, or how many of they're playing, and then come back and play again in the fall. It really helps them.
There are some D2 schools that are playing 6 and 7 games in the spring alone.
And by the way, I understand that the Carson Newman Mars Hill game today was called.
Postponed?
Mars Hill with the
little outbreak
COVID issue.
Okay. Their defense had a COVID issue last week when they gave up 58 points, I believe, to Tusculum. McGee on the draw. He'll take it into the land of milk and honey.
Really good job inside by the offensive line. The offensive line in the first half last week didn't really show that much. And, boy, all of a sudden this week, they just really, really, really came on in the second half, and now they're starting to dominate a little bit in there themselves.
Dwayne McGee gets the touchdown. Jennings, Feeney, Blake Jefferson, Dylan Foster, Isaac Chapman, Ian Brinson among those. Heininger up front for the Bears, opening the holes that time. The Bears score again. 2 straight possessions. The Bears have tacked on touchdowns. So with 13:07 to go in the second, Bears on the board again. It's LR 17 and Barton College 6. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Cordell Harris Insurance Agency, a family-owned and operated business serving the Hickory area since 1981, where we strive to take care of you and your den like family. As an independent insurance agency, we offer a vast spectrum of coverage for your commercial and personal insurance needs with our extensive network of providers. Cordell Harris Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics. Protect your den with Cordell Harris. Go Bears!
Hickory's Hometown Jeweler celebrates our hometown teams, college sweethearts. These couples met and fell in love in Hickory and have been together ever since. For the past 38 years, we've helped our clients celebrate a lot of milestones, and stories like these are some of our favorites. Bring your love back to where it all began. Show your...
Back here as Jefferson Norwood about to kick it off. We understand the LR softball team won their game 1 of their game today against Mars Hill. Game 2 just underway.
Whoa.
Nice
Blake
breaking some tackles, and Norwood that time with the big some of the teammates, he got down and gave like a little scissors kick and knocked the guy out of bounds.
Logan Daniels, 35.
Okay, 35.
Yeah, it was 35.
Not 95.
Yeah.
Look here as we see on the replay. Watch this.
It did look a little funny, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a nice return nonetheless by Barton. Ball's at the 43.
Again, both teams on some of the bigger plays, it's just been poor tackling. That was poor tackling on the part of the Bears. And you've heard me say it a million times, all great plays, somewhere along the line, there's poor tackling involved. Somewhere along the line, there's poor tackling involved.
Play action. Nope, quarterback draw.
Look at this.
They'll throw it down the field.
What a play.
Touchdown.
What a play.
He stepped up in the pocket. I thought he was going to run it.
He did not cross the line.
No, he did not. You're right. Touchdown for Barton.
That's the play of the year.
Nate Byers, junior out of Trinity, North Carolina.
Play. What a play.
You know who runs that play a lot? Coastal Carolina. I don't know if you watched them this fall. They run that play with the quarterback like he's going to – it's like an old-fashioned jump pass, but you stop right before you get to the line of scrimmage if you can and then throw it deep.
Yeah. I mean, that just amazed me. That was the second reaction play, I thought. If it was a planned play, as you said, The execution of it was superb, but boy, that was a heck of a play. We used to do the jump passes, and you see Tim Tebow, and you see it in the NFL.
Yeah.
You see a lot of different delay of game. They didn't get the center forgot to get out there. It's hard to run an extra point if you don't have a center.
That was almost like a flea flicker without the flea.
Yeah. He just ran up to the line, and I thought it was the best part is we'll notice when we get to see the replay. We're getting something today, folks, out there in radio land and TV land now. We're getting to see replays, of the plays instead of, just calling it on the first shot as we do on radio. Now we get to see a replay of it. That was a good one.
And that time it is up and good, and it's a ball game, folks, with 12:49 to go in the second. Bears lead by 4. We'll step aside. This is the Bear Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Gummit. Thought I had this thing down pat.
Back here as we are getting ready for the kickoff, and there's the replay of this touchdown. Watch it, Jack.
See? He's got a guy around his legs when he threw that ball.
But I think it was a planned call because, the guy's running a sprint down the sideline.
He never let up. He never let up. But that guy was around. We had a tackler actually around his legs when he threw that football.
Yeah. Good job, Phillip and the cameraman.
Oh, I'm telling you what. We got a crew here today. I wish we could take these guys with us all the time. Huh? And gals.
So the Bears are in a tight ball game here. Second quarter, 17-13. And for Barton, they played a tight game against Erskine, as you mentioned, first game a couple of weeks ago. Then last week's game got out of hand early, losing 35-0 in the first quarter against Wingate. So they're back in this game after a little bit of a trickeration there, 17-13. Now Bears are going to get it.
Well, that's the kind of thing that they're going to have to do. If they're going to compete with a young team like they have, get out of bounds. Whew, boy, that was close. Yeah, they're going to have to do some things like that. They're not going to be good enough to line up this year, this spring or this fall, and line up there and just play toe to toe with people. They've got some good looking young players. Their quarterback and running back are excellent, and some of their linemen are going to get more experience. They're going to get better. You just think if this group of offensive linemen stay together for 4 years, and they're getting 4 more games this spring before they even become freshmen. So, it's going to be this could be a formidable squad down the line. But right now, the Bears are just not. They're not. The intensity level is not quite as high as it was, and Barton's taking advantage of that.
We'll give you a baseball update in a minute. First down at the 35. It's Kane Cruz now, the veteran running back. Kane, a junior out of Brunswick, Georgia, and Glenn Academy.
I thought we might see a little bit more of Cruz, and maybe in the second half, maybe even another tailback type player, because the Bears, when you got a guy that carries the ball 30 times in a game, that starts mounting up next fall when you play 10 or 11 games instead of 4.
I think Kane's dad was a high school coach. He's coming off a knee injury, Jack, last time out. He wore number 33 previously and switched to number 20 this year. Number 20 worn by a couple of different players the last couple of years, including Maiden High School, North Carolina's Zay Huff, but now Kane Cruz, who gets the carry that time. Third down.
Interesting that the Barton, they run a 4-man front, which I think for them is ideal because they got 4 linemen getting after it.
Pass across the middle. incomplete, intended for Parsons, who caught the touchdown earlier.
Yeah, they run a 4-man front, and that therefore they can. It gives them a little better chance. If they ran a 3-man front, especially against these veteran teams, I think they would have a much more difficult time of getting, of playing defense as good as they've played today. They've had a couple series where they look really good on defense, and it's just a matter of time until that team improves. And if they're on our schedule, and I'm sure they probably are for next year, we'll see what happens.
So Michael Owen now will kick it away. It's 4th and about 5. Here's the snap.
Little rugby, kick it out of bounds and slide off the side of your foot. Boy, as a punter, I can tell you that's one of the things that always scares you. When you're trying to kick the ball, you're right-footed, and you're trying to kick the ball down the right sideline, it's really easy to get it off the side of your foot. That turned out to be a punt of about, let's see where they marked it. That wasn't even what?
Barely 20 yards?
20. Well, I don't even know if that much. We barely kicked it beyond the first down marker. But that's what happens. That was the rugby. That's the first time I've seen us use that. Owen came there. They put the 2 cover guys on the end of the boundary, and then Owen ran this way a few steps and then kicked it, and it just it's a total shank off the side of his foot.
So they'll keep in Lynch, who threw the touchdown pass last possession. This time he'll hand it to the other guy that's had a good game is
Terrell.
Terrell. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Redshirt freshman out of Eastern Randolph, North Carolina. Picks up 3 on the play right at midfield.
He keeps running the ball like he is. We'll call him anything he wants to be called.
Quick pass across the middle.
Oh, man.
And it's intercepted.
Break for the Bears.
That's Eric Jackson. All-conference player for the Bears, safety out of Charleston, South Carolina. Gets the turnover.
When you're a young, inexperienced team and, things don't seem to be going your way, watch how far this ball. He hits him right dead in the chest, and that ball bounces 15 yards in the air and gets intercepted. That's just a tough luck on the quarterback. He threw that ball well, hit the guy right in the chest, and he let it. As a receiver, you remember you don't catch it with your body. That ball hit right in the middle of his shoulder pads, and that's why it bounced up in the air so high.
I don't know if there was that much touch involved that time either.
No, it was more boom right in the chest. And the Bears, they need to take advantage now. The Bears really need. Now's the time to take charge of this game.
Across the middle, caught.
That was the play the Bears ran. I told Coach Jacobs before the game when we were talking, I said, the 2 calls you made in the second overtime were beautiful. First play from the 25-yard line, we ran that play right there. A little fake inside on the run and hit the slant. Guy was wide open. The next play action for the touchdown. 2 plays, boom. And that's what that play, the play action, again, Grayson is so good at that. That's what he's done for 3 years up to this point, and you can see it today. He's a great play action thrower.
Jordan Payne on the reception out of Vance High School in Charlotte.
Wide
Throw
open.
It deep again. Caught. Touchdown. That's Lester. DeAndre Lester with the second touchdown of the afternoon for Grayson Willingham. Sophomore out of Washington, Georgia, hauls it in. And he had to wait on it. He had his man beat by a country mile. Watch the replay. Grayson had plenty of time.
Actually, it was a little bit underthrown because he had to kind of wait on the ball. But, I'll take Grayson's defense on that. I've had that happen once or twice. When that guy's wide open, the last thing you want to do is overthrow him. You throw that ball down there and let him come back and get it if you have to. Don't try to show off your arm and see how far you can throw it.
And that offensive line giving LR plenty of time to throw the football.
And that was just a real quick play action, too.
Bears up by 11. Back with more. Stay with us. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Our decision as a conference last Thursday to cancel the spring season was not made lightly.
There you see the kickoff. Come running up and drops the football. Barton recovers the ball after the Bears' touchdown. LR scores on 2 plays and 49 yards. Thank you, Mike McCree, giving us the scoring drives.
All right.
He is in the stadium here this afternoon. Couldn't be with us up here in the booth. But thank you, Mike. 2 plays and 49 yards, and the Bears get the second touchdown for Grayson Willingham. Let's get some updated stats brought to you by McDonald's. Jack?
Well, Lester's taken over the receiving lead. He's caught 2 passes now for 72 yards. Willingham 8 of 10, 160, and McGee 12 rushes, 62 yards.
Nice pass over here, caught on first down. Cameron Johnson, a freshman out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Is Rocky Mount and Wilson pretty close to one another?
Not really close, but they're not all that far. I mean, they're a lot closer than, Rocky Mount is to here.
They have a number of people on their roster from Rocky Mount. Here's a play, like a little drop play to the right-hand side.
Not being from here, you wouldn't remember this name, but probably the greatest athlete to ever come out of that area in Rocky Mount, especially, was a guy named Danny Talbot. He played quarterback at the University of North Carolina. Also played baseball and basketball. Played all 3 sports at the University of North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Was an outstanding athlete. And I think he just passed away recently.
Third down, now and 5.
And this kid, I tell you, Lynch kid he's a player. Look out.
Steps in the pocket. Bears get some pressure.
Look at that.
Nice catch. Still running with the ball. Spinning. Great balance. That's Cameron Johnson, freshman out of Rocky Mount, as you said. But what a play by the quarterback. A couple of Bears are down.
I'll tell you what, that's not a good sign right here.
Boy, look at this play by.
Oh, he threw the ball. You're talking about
he had 3 guys on him.
Under duress.
Lynch completes it, and good effort that time as well by Johnson.
He's made 2 plays in this ball game as good as any I've ever seen any quarterback. I don't care if this kid's a freshman or whatever. That was Preston. That's not Preston. That's
linebacker.
Is that 25?
Yeah, John Ross May.
John Ross May. Yeah, I thought it was laying down there, and I said, this is not good because he looked like he was holding a leg, and that's one thing you don't want a linebacker to do is get a bad leg. But that young quarterback, gosh, you've seen those plays. Have you ever seen 2 better plays in a game that kid made? I mean, that's 2 outstanding plays. That's individuals, second reaction plays, they call them in the NFL.
Send a man in motion. Nice run up the middle. Getting good yardage. Once again, that's Terrell. 205 pounds at 5'9". He packs a punch. Ramsey, North Carolina native, gets about 7.
This offense right now, they're starting to get, a little bit of rhythm. They had that interception on the last drive. It was just unfortunate for them and fortunate for the Bears.
Again, another run, getting close to the first down before being drugged down by the Bears. Chris Bailey, a linebacker, another freshman out of Garinger High in Charlotte.
I'm trying to see if the Bears have made any substitutions inside. It seems like they're getting a little bit more, a little more emphasis on that offensive line coming off the ball. They're getting after us a little better than they were.
And the Bears were without a couple of guys on defense today as well, including, I think, Dan Luba.
Turn up.
Pass completed. Good enough for the first down, barely inside the 30. I guess they'll mark it at about the 28.
Yeah, the thing, they threw it. They had 3rd down and 1, and they threw a 1-yard pass. He had to run to get the first down, and he was standing there juking around. I'm thinking, bud, you better turn upfield here. You got the first down if you just fall down.
One of those freshman linebackers, Bailey, again for the Bears, making the stop, and it's a first down at the 29. So halfway through the second quarter, Barton showing some fight here, trailing by 11. First down. Hand it again. Good yardage.
And, I don't think the Bears really, the players, you can't hide the film from them anymore. Used to, you say, well, we won't show them the film. Well, they can go on YouTube. They can go on, Huddle. They can go wherever and see the games. So, they saw this game last week. They saw how bad this team got beat.
This time the Bears stand up Terrell and make the stop at the 25.
And that plays a part in it. Not in your preparation. Kids are going to prepare usually if they're coached well, as this team certainly is. They're going to prepare well. It's when you come out here on Saturday and you just won a huge game the week before and to come behind two overtime effort, and then you're playing a team that what was the final, 56-14 or something like that?
Yeah, 55-14, I think. Pretty close. Third down. Quarterback steps in the pocket, throws down the middle of the field, and it is intercepted. Oh, what a nice play by the Bears.
17.
Yeah, Percy King.
What in the world is he doing back there that deep?
Covering his man like a blanket is what he was
doing.
That's
unbelievable. He just went up. That looked like a wide receiver. Watch him go up and get this ball.
Great closing
He's
speed.
covering the slot. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They had man coverage underneath. Everybody was running with a man underneath. They were playing man-to-man underneath and probably had two deep behind them. And he was the linebacker, and he just went out there and ran with that guy, made a heck of a play.
Bears don't have that many transfers on this team. They've probably had more players leave the program via transfer, but haven't brought in a couple or three. But King is one of them, and he gets his second interception of the season.
Well, he's starting off with a lot, showing a lot out here.
That time, Willingham under pressure, got rid of it in a hurry, intended over there for Carter. Incomplete, second down.
Straight drop back. See, no play action there. Not that Grayson can't do that. It's just not his strength. He just got the snap, and receivers were running, looking downfield. And that's the first time all day I remember anybody being around him. The defensive tackle got in there and had pressure on him, actually tackled him as the ball got away.
Bears have won 22 straight regular season games, and this is McGee. Got the handoff. He had a little trouble with it. Looked like nearly lost the handle and gets about 8.
Dwayne McGee is he has quickness, but he's not a bad inside runner. When they run that inside zone, he's not a bad, and he uses his blockers really well. That's the thing I'm most impressed with him for a freshman.
This time McGee gets it again, and he'll get the first down. Previous play, he had a fullback in there, I believe. I think Warren Bell, sophomore out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, was in there. May have been playing tight end or H-back, but Bears get the first down nonetheless. Brought to you by Domino's. Domino's first down for LR at the 32.
They use, I'm going to have to look it up here because he's not on this other chart. Number 42 has been in there several times. Cody Osborne. He's been in there kind of like a tight end H-back like you're talking about.
There's a pass across the middle. Lester caught a touchdown earlier. DeAndre Lester picks up 12. That first down brought to you by Carolina West Wireless, proud to be the official wireless provider for the Bears.
That's a play we're going to see a lot of this year. You see that a lot in this offense where they ride that thing in there and then it's just a one-on-one deep slant, because normally when you ride that guy in there, that inside backer is going to hold up and look for the run, and that keeps him one-on-one.
First down for the Bears. Willingham, quick drop. Incomplete, intended for Payne. Jordan Payne played at Vance High School. They played in the state championship game a couple of years ago in Chapel Hill in North Carolina.
Bears, that was that was a good call by Barton defense. They just happened to be in the defense you don't want them in when you ran that play. They had tight man-to-man coverage. They were up on the line, and we were trying to throw quick and block those two guys, and that was really hard for our wide receivers to do.
Back to pass. Man open. Plenty of room. Still running.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter gets the first down. It's like almost he caught the ball and was expected to get hit. Never did, so he turned up and picked up the first down into Barton territory.
The long completions that the Bears have had have really gotten the defensive backs. If they don't make a call where they come up and they're tight in their face to begin with, they're sitting back really deep off of them. And you saw that was just a deep out, and the guy was 6-7 yards away from it. I mean, he was nowhere near where he should have been to cover that.
Grayson still getting good protection. McGee on the sweep right. Cuts the corner. Nice stiff arm. Inside the 35, down to about the 32. I think some of the fans who are here today, and there's a nice loud crowd here between the bricks, maybe expecting some type of face mask.
He took McGee out, and McGee was like, "Why'd you take me out? I'm hot. I'm on a roll."
They brought in Kane and Bell.
I'll tell you what, that was an excellent play. Really, McGee got a good stiff arm, but it was a good play by the defensive back to pull him down too, because he made a nice tackle. That play could have gone for a bigger yardage if he didn't make that tackle.
47, Warren Bell. At the fullback, they give it to Kane Cruz. He'll get it inside the 30, out of the 27. It's like the old-fashioned I formation right there.
You know, the Bell kind of came on last year and had some carries, but he's not really the type of back you want in this offense. Okay, he's a spot player, and that's what they're doing with him. He's going to be in and out of there, but Cruz and McGee are the kind of guys you want. As long as they can stay healthy, they can give you that potential for the big play on any carry.
Bell was a high school quarterback in Scotland County,
Laurinburg, North Carolina.
Yeah, and now is a fullback for the Bears. Okay, Kane to the left of Willingham. Grayson back. Throw down the left side. Nice catch and drop.
Wow.
Deep down there, intended for again. Carter. Good throw. Carter had it for a second.
Yeah, it was an excellent throw out there. That was Meggett, though, wasn't it? Number 4?
Was that 4 or 12?
Yeah, that was number 4. He's a tall kid, too. Look how much taller he is than Carter out there.
Yeah, he was a guy that coaches have spoke about quite a bit. 6'2", 180-pound freshman. Here comes a draw to the right. Cruz inside the 25.
He never got that play turned up. That play had to turn up. Now, Barton did a good job of fanning that play to the sideline, and he kept running sideways. And by the time he decided to cut up, now the inside pursuit got to him. You got to tell you, there are just times when you have to turn that up. That's what McGee did last week, and he does this week too a couple times. He'll stretch that play out, and then all of a sudden he'll cut it upfield and get something out of it.
Closing couple of minutes here before halftime. Willingham throw it back, shoulder throw, caught. This is Lester, tippy-toeing inside the 5, pushed out. But a nice throw by Willingham, good catch by Lester, and the Bears have another first down, first and goal. Quickly, baseball score. Bears won game 1 at Anderson this afternoon. Got good pitching. A one-hitter today by Lenoir-Rhyne in game 1 of their baseball doubleheader at Anderson. I think they were tied in the 4th inning, 1-1 in game 2.
And they play 2 more tomorrow.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I tell you got to have a good pitching staff. You got to play 4 games every weekend.
And the ladies softball team up 2-0 in their game today. As Willingham may have been a busted play.
You called that just right, Juju. It was a busted play because he turned to the right to hand the ball, and McGee was on the left, or Cruz was on the – no, it was McGee. McGee was on the left, and he turned to the right to hand the ball. Well, by then – like I said, there's no other back in the backfield, so you don't have a choice. You just run the ball, take what you can. That's going to put Willingham in the negative yardage situation for his rushing now. Yep, 2 carries for -2.
Don't they take that off, though, off his passing yardage in
no,
college football?
They didn't here because it was a run play from the get-go.
Okay.
Look at that.
Look at McGee.
Wow.
Boy, nice effort by Dwayne McGee. Gets his 2nd touchdown as he dances into the land of milk and honey. The Bears are on the board again as they hit the 30-point mark with a little over a minute to go before half. And look at this run here.
Oh, he bounced 1, 2, 3, through 3 tacklers. 3 tacklers had a real good shot at him.
Boy, he has had a good game and a half in his career for LR.
Yeah, that's going to, in the rushing category, let's see, let me get to it here. Dwayne McGee, 16 carries, 89 yards, averaging 5.6 per carry.
Had 160 last week. He's over 200 yards of his LR career. He's off to a great start. And the offense now starting to get it together, and they're on a roll. We'll go to a break here and step aside. Your score, Lenoir-Rhyne 31, Barton 13. This is the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career.
Back here for the kickoff. Jefferson Norwood's kick.
Boy, he's getting that ball high.
Yes, he is.
That's as high as a punt.
And the return up across the 30-yard line goes Johnson, Cameron Johnson. K&L Dunright, one of our new sponsors on the Bears Sports Network. Are you in the market for a new roof? Contact K&L Dunright. They're roofing serving the foothills in western North Carolina since 2009. Bears leading here 31-13. It was a close game. At one point, Jack, was 17-13. And the Bears have tacked on the back-to-back touchdowns here.
Back-to-back long, big long plays set it up, too.
Barton could get on the board here. Quick out.
I'll tell you I'm a little surprised that this young man's at Barton. You know, he's got the potential to be a bigger school player. Not necessarily a better, but a bigger school. You know, I wouldn't say in East Carolina or somebody, but, you know, somebody maybe in Elon or somebody like that may have looked at him. One AA type school. This kid can throw the football, and he's got great running ability.
Pick up a 4. Plenty of time, and he'll throw it, heave it down the field again. Receiver up with it. Good play by the Bears secondary, knocking it away and complete.
A 50-50 ball. I mean, you take a chance. You got 46 seconds left. You know, he threw that ball up there and said, go get it. And the young man almost made the play, and our defensive back, who was on that play?
Keegan Mayfield, I believe.
Yeah, he was back there in great position. Both of them, both the receiver and the defensive back played that well, and as the ball got tipped up in the air, nobody had a chance to catch it.
Keegan played quarterback at Maiden High School in his career. Been a defensive back in his LR uniform, making his, I believe, his first career college start today. He's out on the island right now, 3rd and 6. Quarterback under pressure. Well, he had to get it away. Bears came on a blitz that time.
Yeah, they finally, that's the first time I saw them. They were going to bring pressure. That kid's thrown some good balls. But the receiver, 2 receivers wound up standing beside each other, looking at each other, and he threw the ball to the outside. One of them was supposed to go to the outside. You don't have 2 guys that are standing there talking to each other.
Some laundry on the field.
I wonder if it's
maybe a late hit. Quarterback roughing.
Roughing the passer.
Yeah.
We had some people all over him. If it is, it's going to be 15 yards, and it's going to be a first down.
Max Melton, the veteran official.
He's coming over to tell Coach Jacobs what the deal is.
A couple of new sponsors. Tri-County Marine, proud sponsor. They donated a new bass boat for the new Lenoir-Rhyne fishing team. In your days, Jack, in all your history of Lenoir-Rhyne, would you ever expected Lenoir-Rhyne to have a fishing team? To compete.
Well, you know what? I can see that. Coach Painter used to teach fishing class. He used to teach people in the gym.
I know. Yeah, I remember.
Whatever they did. Oh, I know what. You know what they call? I can't believe that. They called intentional grounding.
Why?
Because
I guess he was still
the
in the
receiver
pocket.
ran the wrong route.
Yeah,
and he threw it. There was nobody within 20 yards of the ball. So
he was
Mr.
still
Melton
in the pocket.
back there said, well, there's nobody over there, so it's got to be intentional grounding.
And you know, I guess he was still in the pocket.
Watch this. They got that quick kick formation.
And they block it, or somebody blocked it. And the Bears get the football. We'll see from a replay who blocked it. I don't know if their guy their punter kicked one of their players in the backside.
I totally don't know.
Nonetheless,
it looked like it got blocked. Let's see right here.
Ryan Carter, he kicked
There's
it right.
The guy right there.
He kicked it to his own guy.
Yep. You know, I don't understand that short formation, the quick kick kind of thing.
I'll save a story for later because I know he's watching. But that's not the first time I've seen that.
No, it's happened before.
It happened when I played back in 1982.
Well, I tell you what it is. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Not only to the punter, but the guy that gets kicked in the rear end. And the Bears have a chance to put more points on the board, at least get in the owl ball range.
Grayson scrambling, throws it across the middle. It's caught. Parsons.
He makes a stiff arm right there. He's running for a touchdown.
Caught a touchdown pass earlier in this game and had one last week for the game winner against Newberry.
And they'll start using those timeouts real quick. We're not going to get off enough plays unless we hit a big one.
Grayson look comfortable in this offense to you?
A little. He's not as comfortable. It doesn't look like right now in the drop back game he is in the play action. He's so good at play action. He just grown up with that. The whole offense he ran for all those years was after the other experience we went through with the spread. When Coach Cronick got here and play action became the big deal, he just fell right into it. It was perfect for him, and he's going to get better at it because he's not done a lot of it. We didn't see a lot of play action type pass. A lot of just straight drop back with 4 and 5 receivers running down the field, and that's something mentally with your eyes. When you play action, there's 1 or 2 guys in the same general area, maybe one deep, one short, but you're kind of focusing in one place. The drop back game, you've got to read the defense and say, okay, when I get the snap in my hands, I'm going to look right first, then I'm going to look middle, and then if I have time after that, I'm going to look left. You got to focus on one side of the field or the other, and it just takes more practice time and game time to get better at drop back.
2nd and 9. Bears have it. 9 seconds left. What, one throw in the end zone maybe?
Yep,
or a sideline throw and a timeout?
Yep.
They do. Slant across the middle. Caught inside the 5.
3, 2.
And they call a timeout.
2 seconds.
Ryan Carter with a slant pass, a junior out of Ringgold, Georgia, hauls it in. Nice execution by the Bears.
He's going field goal.
Boy, nice throw, too. Right in between the seam. Carter turned it up inside the 5, and he had to go down quickly unless maybe he had a chance to get in the end zone.
Well, if he'd got away one more step and not scored, though, the clock would have run out.
Yeah.
There's 2 seconds on the clock right now, so we were fortunate. Because, again, like just as you called it, if you don't throw that ball into the end zone or close to the end zone or you can't run it to the end zone, the time was going to probably catch up to us.
Ryan Carter, one of the few skill people that are still around the program after the change in coaches. We've mentioned all these freshmen that have played here today, except for Grayson Willingham, Ryan Carter, I believe, and DeAndre Lester. Those guys are the only skill people that are left in the program, at least, that are playing quite a bit. Kane Cruz a little bit at running back, but Carter had a good game last week in the second half against Newberry. I think he had 5 catches.
Oh, wow.
Here's the kick, and it is good.
Well,
I thought it was going to be blocked too. You're right.
Well, we've had some. You remember we got one blocked at the end of the game. When we were trying to win the game last week, and we've had a couple that we're going to have to shore up that because we got a real weapon in Chase Albaugh. He's probably not going to miss too many. But we've got to. It's just like anything else. Like a good quarterback, you got to protect him.
So the Bears get on the board right before the half, 34-13 here, and I getting some messages, Jack, that besides the fishing classes that Coach Painter had, he had archery and bait casting.
Yeah, bait casting. That's what he did. He'd get them in the gym there, and he had the rods and reels, and they'd be casting from one end to the other, fly fishing type thing. The one that we would have never seen, you would have never seen, was the esports.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the one that we would have never ever seen. That's just something, that wasn't around. That came on a little bit later, and what it's developed into now, and these esports teams are huge on college campuses.
I wouldn't be surprised you see them at LR pop up here very, very soon.
I think we've already got them.
I know some of the community colleges around here do have them as well.
I think there's beginnings here, if not already participating on a lower level, maybe a club level type thing.
Yeah. Take a timeout. We're at halftime. We have a couple special guests joining us here. Take our break, and when we come back, we'll give you the halftime stats, as well as some other surprises as well. Bears on top here.
Thank you.
Back after this on the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Our decision as a conference last Thursday to cancel the spring season was not made lightly.
It's Nick
and Greer with Paramount Automotive in Hickory.
We're located right on Highway 70 in Hickory with 6 new car franchises.
And a great selection of pre-owned vehicles.
Come see us for a fast, fun car buying experience.
Paramount Automotive Hickory, ParamountAuto.com.
Cordell Harris Insurance Agency, a family-owned and operated business serving the Hickory area since 1981, where we strive to take care of you and your den like family. As an independent insurance agency, we offer a vast spectrum of coverage for your commercial and personal insurance needs with our extensive network of providers. Cordell Harris Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics. Protect your den with Cordell Harris. Go Bears!
Hickory's hometown jeweler celebrates our hometown teams, college sweethearts. These couples met and fell in love in Hickory and have been together ever since. For the past 38 years, we've helped our clients celebrate a lot of milestones, and stories like these are some of our favorites. Bring your love back to where it all began. Show your college sweetheart the past as you look together to the future, and let us help you start your future here at Oz's Jewelers.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Celebrate great with Carolina West Wireless. Great new phones and a great customer experience, all on our great nationwide high-speed network. Stop by today and get big savings on select Samsung smartphones, like $350 off the Samsung Galaxy S20 and S20 Plus, and $350 off the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra. The great savings continue with 4 lines of unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. Celebrate great savings and go stay connected wherever your travels take you.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found the expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Broken windshield, take one.
Hey guys, my windshield just got broken. I feel like I need to blow off some steam. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Blanks, there's no need to be stressed. Geico makes it easy to file a claim online, on the app, or over the phone.
Yeah, but what if I never hear back? That's gonna make me want to go, check.
Nope, your Geico claims team is always there for you.
That makes me want to celebrate with some fireworks. 5, 6, 7, go. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah!
Geico. Great service without
Brad Long's house.
As we're back at halftime, getting ready for the second half. Both teams coming out onto the field. Juju Phillips, along Jack Huss, as we join you here between the bricks. First time in, I counted, Jack, 470 days since
been a while
since the Bears last played here at Moret Stadium. And it was that game against West Florida in the quarterfinals of the NCAA Division II playoffs. But today, Bears on top here by a score 34-13. It was a close game that first half. Bears broke away with 17 unanswered points there in the second quarter. But I tell you what, when you look at the way things happened in this football game, and as you look at some of the stats, Bears got off to a little bit of a slow start, but as you can see the stats right there, the rushing yardage in favor of Lenoir-Rhyne. But what's impressive, too, is Barton. They've been able to put together some drives and come up with some big plays today.
Over 200 yards in total offense for Barton up to this point. And, I was just thinking, but weren't the uniforms that West Florida wearing very similar to these uniforms that weren't they blue and white? Do you remember?
They had blue and white, and I think they had a little bit of green.
Yeah. But anyway, they had similar uniform, and this team is showing more than you would have expected based on the score last week. They went into Wingate last week, and they played 2 games, and these 2 games both on the road. So that's not an easy, thing for them to do either. But, they had just a terrible first quarter and got behind, and after that, it was difficult to try to catch up against a team as good as Wingate. And, they actually held a 6-3 lead at one time against the Bears. But, the Bears, I don't know, they're working on some things you can tell. We're throwing the football a little bit more. I think that's something that Coach Jacobs wanted to work on during this contest was their throwing of the football. And, I would have expected personally that we might have a little bit bigger lead at halftime, and we might see some of the second-line players starting the second half. And that still could be the possibility. We're up 21 points, so we'll see how Coach Jacobs plays it. But, Gunnar Anderson and Sean White both I thought could possibly see some action in this game as quarterbacks, and then other running backs. We've seen Kane Cruz. I don't know who's going to be behind them, who's going to be the third running back. But, we'll see how he tries. Coach Jacobs wants to play it in the second half.
LR getting ready to come out here in the second half, and we've been telling you all first half about some of our fine supporters and sponsors joining us on the Bears Sports Network this year, and we mentioned a few of them, and there have been guys and sponsors that have been aboard with us for a number of years. Paramount Automotive, one of those. Oz Jewelers back on board, your hometown jewelry store for over 38 years. You can stop by their Springs Road office in Hickory or like them on Facebook for exclusive deals and auctions on every Wednesday. That's Oz Jewelers, located on Springs Road in Hickory, proud sponsor of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics. Again, some of the main stats, individual stats. Jack, you mentioned a few. You mentioned Grayson Willingham, thrown for over 240 yards in the first half. Run down some of the other important stats as we get ready to start the second half.
Dwayne McGee has carried 16 times for 93 yards. The 16 carries last year probably for one running back. That might have been the entire game. But, again, this is a one-back offense basically. We'll see some other people carry the ball as time goes by, but primarily it's a tailback-oriented offense. Kane Cruz has 4 carries for 15 yards. Grayson Willingham, 14 out of 19, 241, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Lester was targeted 6 times, caught 5. Ron Carter caught 2. Kellen Parsons 2. Hakeem Meggett caught 1. DeAndre Lester has 105 yards in receiving with his long, yards after catch. Wow, we're getting all these statistics now we've never had before.
Yeah.
Yards after catch, 48 yards for Lester. He ran with the ball very well after he caught it. And one of those was that run, the first play of the game when we ran the little jet sweep play. But it was actually Willingham tossed the ball about 2 feet forward to him as he came behind the line. So it counts as a pass. Michael Owen, two punts, 28.5 average. The shank hurt his average. that's one he'll have to work hard to overcome that. Maybe they'll let him quick kick and he can get some extra yards out of that. Ryan Carter, 1 punt return, -6. He has 2 kickoff returns for 66 yards. The Bears have had some good ones there. John Ross May, 3 unassisted, 1 assist, 4 tackles. Preston Joseph, 1 unassisted, 3 assisted for 4. Andre Jefferson, 2 tackles, unassisted, and 1 assist for 3. The quarterback, Jaquan Lynch, 7 of 10, 136 yards, and 2 interceptions. One of them was an interception in the end zone where he just threw the ball up. Really, it was not a bad throw. He threw the ball up down there for his guy to go get it, and he didn't go get it. And then the other one was just a pure accident. The ball hit his receiver right in the middle of the chest, bounced high in the air about 15 yards over and was intercepted. I believe Eric Jackson got that one. Darnell Johnson, linebacker, 6 unassisted and 5. He has and 3 assists. He's got 8 tackles. That leads both teams in tackles. And the leading rusher is the quarterback again, Jaquan Lynch, 7 carries, 52 yards. Got 42 yards total. He had 10 yards in loss. And Jordan Terrell, 11 carries, 34 yards, lost 3, 31 total yards.
A couple of other scores for you. Some of the other teams for LR playing today. Right now, the baseball team trying to go for a sweep down at Anderson. They won the opener 11-0 on a one-hitter. The Bear pitchers have been outstanding this year, and they lead game 2, 3-2, 4-2 now in the 6th inning. Bears are kicking off, and here's the kick, a high kick, picked up at the 10. And that is number 10.
Can't get anywhere going. Ooh, he outran
breaks
him.
a tackle and gets out of bounds at about the 25. Good return. That's Cameron Johnson. Softball team won their first game at Mars Hill, trailing in the second game of the 6th inning, 3-2.
You know, one of the things that Coach Hester has done at Barton, he's recruited speed. He's got some flashy speed guys out there. We've seen the quarterback, we've seen the tailback, but that was one of the receivers. Let me get you his number here. Number 10, that's Cameron Johnson, 5'8", 120, or excuse me, 170, again from Rocky Mount area, Northern Nash High School.
So first down for the Bulldogs. BC, they'll send a man in motion. High snap, ball on the ground. One of the up men now recovers for, may have been the fullback, Kenyon.
Lynch has had about 2 or 3 times. I don't know if he's just taking his eyes off the ball, because the thing in the shotgun, you've got to catch the ball before you do anything else. And he started moving as that ball was coming back to him, and the ball just popped out of his hands. And you know, it's not the terrible loss of yardage, but it's a wasted play, and they don't need to waste plays. They've had a hard time picking up first downs when they start off on 2nd down and 12.
Bears have started 4 freshmen on defense today. Running wide is Lynch. Check that, Terrell. He may get back to the line of scrimmage. That's still going to be behind the chains. 3rd down and 11.
John Ross May's back in. That's good to see.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would take any chance with him, you know, if there were any doubt about his injury situation. But he was back in there, and he ran that one down. The good thing about our linebackers, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but, boy, can they run. They can run and make tackles for you.
And May is number 25, middle linebacker there right in the middle of the screen near the left hash mark. Shows a blitz. He and Preston Joseph. And there is a pass caught. First down. Lunging forward is again Johnson. Tugging a couple of Bears with him, and a flag comes down.
Yeah, that's just not a smart play. That was Greg Redmond, the offensive guard. He came down, and one of the Bear players was standing over the pile, and he just popped him and knocked him out. It wasn't a terrible hit, but he popped him enough, it just knocked him straight backwards, and that's going to be after the play, so that's probably going to wind up. I don't know if they do that anymore. Is it 1st and 25? You don't see that anymore. That must be.
No, you don't.
Yeah, if they got the first down, and it's 15 yards from there, the ball's going to go back, actually, to the original line of scrimmage that this series began.
You're right.
They didn't even move the chains. So it's not a dead ball foul after the play. It really should be, you know. Of course, he might have been one of those defensive player hits, too. He might have been the whistle had not blown.
I don't know if that was a hit or a push.
We might as well, that series was a waste of time. They wound up right back where we started.
We're a minute and a half in here in this third quarter. Delay play right up the middle over the 30 to the 31, so nice pickup of 6.
Both of these teams run a similar offense, and we're going to see this fall. You know, what we did previously was more of a wing tee. There was a lot of misdirection and all. This offense is what we have seen from a lot of teams that we play, what the Bears run now and what Barton's running. That's a play that we run right there.
Another drop play and another run.
Now, they are doing something that we did a little more later in the second quarter. Juju, when you started seeing somebody else in there, they've got a like an H back in there. They had up there to be an extra blocker, kind of like the old fullback.
Uh-huh.
So it winds up being more like an I formation when you do that.
Third down and short now. Clock running.
It's really short, in a yard or less, maybe.
Yeah. 44 checks in for Barton, and he's a big fella too. Kenyon is 6'1", 245. He is the traditional fullback, and he's offset to the right, and they run behind him right up the middle. And they'll get the first down.
Real close.
That's Terrell.
You know, the one thing that makes it difficult, when you're going third down and 1, and the tailback is lined up 7 yards deep, he's got to make 7 yards just to get even, and then he's got to make a yard. That play hit so slowly. By the time he got to the line, they had us blocked briefly, and by the time he got to the line of scrimmage, he just barely made the first down.
Yeah, the offensive linemen have to remain engaged with their blockers. Comes an option. A little bit of a seam and a hole. Running with the ball in the first down again is Johnson. He went in motion from a wide receiver spot, turned and came this side in front of the LR bench, as you can see on the replay.
And the thing about it, watch these 2 blocks right here by your wide receivers. Those 2 blocks by the wide receiver were the key to that play. That was outstanding by the 2 wide receivers.
Run out of bounds by Malik Taylor for the Bears. Pass again, short drop, caught. Nice move there along the sidelines, pushed out of bounds again. That's May coming over from his linebacker position, one of those 4 freshmen. But not before Nate Byers, a junior out of Trinity and a transfer from Averett University. I think that's in Virginia, Division III school. They'll get it to the 29. So here comes Barton right out of the gate here in the third quarter. Bears kicked it on their first possession, 3 and out. And a running play.
That young man is a lot, Terrell. He's a lot like McGee. He reads his blocking really well. He started just a little bit wider, and all of a sudden he saw the play open up. He planted that foot, cut back inside just a little bit. Wasn't much, but he cut back in there, and he made about close to 4 yards there on something that didn't look that good when he started out.
Bears without their 2-time all-conference defensive lineman, Dan Luba, today. Comes an option. This time Redden played quite well that time by the Bears.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't pitch that ball as good as he's been at getting rid of that ball.
Yep.
He had a pitch man outside there. If he'd have pitched that ball, he'd have really had a play.
Shelton on the stop. I think that was DeAndre Shelton, sophomore out of Macon, Georgia, from his defensive end position. Third down and long here for the Bulldogs with just under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bears, thanks to 17 consecutive points late in the first half, stretch their lead now 34-13. Going into the sun, back to pass, across the middle. Short of the first down, picking up the reception is Byers.
You know, everybody runs that little pass. You remember, it used to give us, Mars Hill was good at that, and so was Tusculum. They'd run people deep, and then there'd be one receiver just kind of dragging about 3 or 4 yards down the field. And they'd hit him, and he'd run the ball, you know. And they didn't get a lot of that. We were ready for that.
Yeah, Jonas Randolph comes to mind from Mars
That's
Hill.
exactly right.
So here we go. 4th down and 5. See, they try to draw the Bears offside. They're going to go for it. Here we go. Rolling right, throwing, caught.
Oh, great throw, great catch.
Yes, indeed. Coverage over there on the far side by the Bears is Chris Brown, a freshman out of King, North Carolina.
They gave him the first down, but I tell you what, that official gave a lousy mark. He was almost a yard beyond that when he caught the ball, and he came back toward him, and he marked it. See where he is?
Yeah.
And watch where he marks the ball. We'll see where it is now. See, it's right on the line.
Southside Power and Fitness providing our instant replay today, and here's a stretch play running left with a hole to the 10 inside the 10-yard line, drugged down from behind, making the tackles J.P. Palmer, redshirt sophomore out of Townsend, Georgia, but not before Barton gets a nice run here. Look at this play. Little stretch to the left, good blocking.
I'll tell you, this is quite an impressive performance by the offensive line doing the job now, but the quarterback and running back, Lynch and Terrell, have really done a marvelous job. I tell you, those two guys, they'd make anybody happy to be on their team.
This time a run up the middle. Terrell gets it inside the 5. Knocked down that time by Percy King, freshman out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, transfer from Dominican University in Ohio.
There's something you don't see very often. The quarterback was hollering at the sideline, said, let's get them up to the line real quick, and they did.
And the Bears were waiting.
Yep. They're not going to press their luck. They're not going to make play after play after play inside. They're going to make one every once in a while. Watch this. He barely gets to the line.
Oh.
Yeah. John Ross May came from a stunt on the backside. He read the play and just took off. Well, let's see what they do now. They've had some pretty good little plays here. I wouldn't be surprised to see an option. They've got that extra blocker in the backfield.
I'd say roll out right. Nope. Pass it in the corner of the end zone.
Nope.
Incomplete. Good coverage by the Bears that time. Chris Brown on the coverage.
That's not a bad touch throw either. You think about it. They're going to go field goal. Yep. You know, I don't know. At 3 points is 3 points when you're down 34-13. But, you know, I know they want to score because this is an excellent opportunity for them to score. So they want to get the ball in the end zone.
About a 6.5, 7 minute drive here.
Yeah, but they're going to get 3 points out of it.
Yeah.
That's a reward. That's a reward for doing a great job. Uh-oh. And they need to practice on the field. They've had some missed snap. That ball just practically rolled back there. Now, as a holder, I was a holder way back when. The ball rolled back. See, we didn't drop kick back when I had to hold. All right, we did have a place kicker. Okay, but the ball rolls back there. That's what you want. What you don't want is the high snap. If it rolls back there, then it's your job to pick it up. Right here, see? It's your job to get it up and get it on the tee.
Now, you've punted before.
Yes.
Why didn't you ever drop kick? Did you have that
skill?
skill?
I did in practice. We used to mess around with it. It was fun.
Yeah. I guess Coach Painter didn't like to do that.
Who was it they let drop kick in the NFL one?
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie drop kicked an extra point.
For New England.
Mm-hmm.
And
all right.
Here we go. 34-13 remaining. The same score here as we are midway through the third quarter. Willingham remains at quarterback for the Bears. McGee set to his left, and they hand it to the freshman.
Wow.
And he's knocked back.
Boy, what a...
Barely, back to the 10. That's going to be a loss of 3.
They just stuffed us right there. Wow. That didn't look too good. You know, in the second half is when the Bear offensive line really took over the game last week.
Sure did.
We came out in the second half and just really ran the football exceptionally well.
Give it to him again to get a little bit of a seam. Good block that time out front. The pulling center, I like that.
Yeah.
Blake Jefferson pulling from his center position, and a good cut by McGee picked up the first down.
You know, sometimes who pulls depends on whether he's covered or uncovered.
Look at the center.
Yeah,
54.
see, he was uncovered then. That's why he probably pulled. Had he been covered, it might have been the other guard, you know.
McGee waited on his block, though. That's a good sign from a freshman.
Yeah, in a four-man front, the center's usually uncovered. He's uncovered again right there, you see.
Willingham, play action. Had some pressure that time, so he had to get rid of it. Incomplete, intended for Parsons. Flag down.
somebody ineligible downfield. It looked like it may have been the guy blocked the guy down the field, and then I don't think he fired off, did he?
That's usually what happens, right?
If ineligible, is that loss of down?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's loss of down. When he touches his head like that, that's loss of down. I'm pretty sure about that.
Softball team,
Well, no,
women's
it's not.
softball tied now at Mars Hill game 2 after winning game 1.
No, I'm sorry. It's not loss of down. That's ineligible. That's the signal. When he touches his head, that's ineligible receiver.
Okay. 1st and 15. Straight drop. Grayson over here. Man open. Luttrell.
See, they
Trey Luttrell with the reception. Sophomore out of Gainesville, Georgia.
Those deep passes that the Bears completed early have really got them laying off now. They are so far off. I mean, that's just an easy down and out from the slot man. You know, the wide receiver goes deep, the slot man goes down and out. I mean, there was nothing to that. And he was wide open.
He sure was.
They're just, they're laying back. They don't want to get beat deep, so, it's easier to throw underneath them, obviously, if they're laying back.
Trey, the man who caught that pass, was a high school quarterback in Gainesville, Georgia. McGee on the handoff, still going, breaking tackles. His yardage after contact is impressive. He got hit at the line of scrimmage and ended up picking up 8, maybe 9.
He's an ideal back. He's an ideal back. Oh, wow.
Over 100 yards now for him.
He's an ideal back for this offense because he can pick his way, but he can sprint. But he's got good vision. All great runners have good vision. They can see. Coach Painter used to say, see and do. If a guy can see and do, that's what you want. And that's what McGee can do. He can see the hole, and he's got the ability to put it in the hole and turn it upfield and get yardage.
What's the phone company that has their ad campaign? Uncomplicated.
Yeah. Now there's a deep pistol. He's about 8 yards deep there.
Play action. Under pressure. Grayson high pitch.
Oh, nice
caught.
catch. Is that Lester?
Yes,
82?
it is. They call it an interception?
Nope. If it's
first down.
I think our guy caught it, and then their guy tried to take it away on the way down.
DeAndre Lester.
Ty goes to the offense.
Going up high, sophomore out of Washington, Georgia. Nice catch.
Yep. See, down there when they got on the ground, that's when he tried to take it away from him.
Grayson directing traffic now. Pistol formation. Receivers to both sides. Will he get under center?
Yeah, he's got a tight end and another tight end in there in the wing positions. See, that gives them that extra blocker depending on what they want to do.
And they give it to him. Follow his tight end and his blockers. McGee has good footwork as well, right? Quick feet inside the 15.
You don't coach that. That's just inherent. Great runners have that inherent ability.
And you can pick that up on tape, can't you?
Yeah. They just, it's just see and do. They see it and they do it. It's just instinct. But we were in a formation there. See, we're in the same thing now. Look.
Just to the left side.
Well, this is a trips over here. We got trips this time. But if you're looking over here, you think they're going to run left.
Quick pitch. Good blocking. And McGee follows his blockers, cuts back to the 10-yard line.
The problem with that play, we had too many people out in front of him. He was trying to get away from our players. There were more of our players in front of him than there were defenders.
So Neal comes out, the tight end out of Charlotte Catholic High School. Now they'll put in another tight end, Cody Osborne, Windsor, Ohio, transfer from Notre Dame College at tight end. He's number 42. Willingham looks left.
Oh, good job by the defender. He saw it coming.
And that pass is complete to the running back, McGee, out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's a goal line short yardage play. McGee just ran straight out of the backfield, and Grayson looked for him and just dumped it to him real quick. But the defensive back on that side, there was a short back and a deeper guy, and we had one receiver over there. The short guy just stayed right in his position, and as soon as that ball was in the air, he was making the tackle.
Do they do that same thing again and see if they can get a quick slant maybe to the receiver? Lester on the left side. Nope, they'll go right. There's a pass inside. Shuffle pass.
Yep.
inside the 10. But Barton's defense stands strong inside the 10, and that'll bring on the field goal team.
Again, like the Barton on the opening drive, we've had, one possession?
Yeah.
Well, no, we received the kickoff and went 3 and out. Then they had the ball for 6 or 7 minutes. Now we've had it for 6 or 7, but they got a missed field goal, and hopefully we've got a made field goal. Let's see what it looks like on the interior. We've had a little trouble on that right side. It looks like that's where the hole came.
23-yard field goal by Albaugh.
Now that's a good job there. That's solid.
Right off the back wall at Shuford Memorial Gymnasium. Bears tack on their first points of the second half. Their score now reads LR 37 and Barton 13. Back with more on the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found an expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
All right, back here, Juju Phillips, Jack Huss. Thank you to all of you that are watching along the line today on the Bears Sports Network, being provided by MBA Roofing, and our cast of thousands here at Moret Stadium. Beautiful spring afternoon here, right? And hardly any clouds in the skies.
Yeah.
Sun is out.
Well,
they chill in the air.
They said we'd be limited to about 1,200 people, and I wouldn't think. Most of them are smart enough. They're sitting over there on the sun side. The visitor side stays in the sunlight all the way down until the sunset. So most of our fans, or not most, but a lot of our fans are sitting on the other side of the field because that's where the warmth is, and it's a little chilly with the wind blowing. But
I got a feeling when the governor speaks again this week that we may see more than 1,200 for the Bears' next home game.
Yeah, I would hope so because that's going to be homecoming.
Yeah. So here we go. Jefferson Norwood approaches it.
Boy, he's really getting that ball up in the air.
Sure
They're
is.
short kicks, but they're really high.
20-yard line, and the Bears get good coverage on the special teams. You wanted to mention some of these specialists. The Bears have some veteran specialists, guys that won some awards.
Oh, yeah. The Bears had Chase Albaugh. He was shared the Special Teams Player of the Week last week with I lost my list.
He did. He broke
just for the team.
Yeah.
Albaugh and they were tied because Albaugh had the great kicking, and probably would have won the game had we blocked it better. He was well within his range. He'd already kicked one up 3 or 4 yards further than that. But
broke the school record for most points in a career.
The long snapper Tyler Keaton's done a great job for the Bears in 2 games, and of course Michael Owen, the punter, is also the holder for the kicker when Albaugh's in there kicking.
This has been an option. Let's see if they run it. They do. And the Bears had it snuffed out. J.P. Palmer.
Yep.
Nice play by Palmer. I don't think anybody blocked him. He came up. And as soon as that guy caught the pitch from the quarterback, Palmer hit him almost immediately.
That player, that play, the quarterback again sort of bobbled a snap. And that play did not look good from the get-go. Yeah, they brought that guy off the corner, yeah.
About a 10-yard sprint that time.
Percy King came off the corner real quick, took the quarterback on the option.
Bears get pressure.
Wow, what a throw.
And caught for the first down.
I tell you what, this kid, I know I'm bragging about him, but he is impressive.
Yeah.
You watch that throw. I mean, that is a laser. Watch how quickly this ball gets out of his hand up the field. I mean, this ball is thrown like a bullet.
Anton Tropina.
Watch this.
With the catch.
And again, getting hit. Boom.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hit just as the ball came out of his hand.
20-yard pickup. Quick handoff here, and Get it over the 40, up to about the 41, goes Terrell. And the Bears coming in and with the tackle, that is Jefferson, another freshman out of Illinois.
He's 12 out of 16 for 191 yards right now, 1 TD and 2 interceptions. Jaquan Lynch. It's quite a performance.
And he didn't start last week's game against Wingate either. Tyler Flippin was the starter. There's a long pass.
Yeah.
Just lofted over there to the receiver, tried to run under it, falls incomplete.
Well, that's what you want to do. That you want to throw that ball up. Now, in the NFL, they'll underthrow that ball on purpose because there was nobody could have made that play but the defensive back and the receiver. But that's what you want to do. Put air under the ball and see if your guy can outrun them and get to it.
Jackson Perrell or Perrell is a player out of Lexington, North Carolina.
19 carries, 67 yards.
Would you consider Lexington the barbecue capital of North Carolina?
If it's not, it ought to be. Shelby will argue about that too.
Okay.
Another great throw and first down.
Yep, and a catch by Johnson, freshman out of Rocky Mount.
Now the Bears do have. I see Eric Jackson on the sideline over here. So they are seeing some. There are some backups in there, at least in the secondary.
Mayfield
that looks
still
like
in.
56.
Amari Houston's still in there.
That's still in there, yeah. John Ross May's still in there.
Yelding in a defensive line. They got most of their first units still in.
End of the third quarter.
Okay, we go to the fourth quarter. It's LR 37 and Barton 13. Back with more. Stay with us. This is the Bear Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Back here as we start the fourth quarter, Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, our cast of thousands. Barton driving with the ball, incomplete pass over there.
Probably the worst ball he's thrown today. He just didn't get that ball out there where it needed to be.
Second down now, clock stops, first play of the fourth quarter. Let's get some stats brought to you by McDonald's. With an update, here's Jack.
Grayson Willingham, 18 of 23, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns. John Ross May, 7 tackles, 6 solo, 3 tackles for loss, having another big game.
2nd and 10. Looking. Bears try to go for the interception. Good coverage and an incomplete pass.
I tell you, he can really put some speed, as they call it. He can really spin it. He can really spin the football.
TJ Blanding on the coverage for LR.
This kid's got a bright future.
And we'll see him in the fall again. I think LR travels to Wilson to take on Barton next fall, sometime.
And we'll see our old buddy John David Cars.
Bears put some pressure on, and they get down the quarterback. He didn't go down easy.
Houston is in there.
And Yelding.
Number 22. Who's number 22? He was in on that too. Jordan Holmes. Yeah, the Bears got that. That's one of the first times we've really gotten that kind of pressure too, if you look at it.
Here we go.
I don't understand this punt formation.
That's the backup
I
quarterback.
guess that's the reason they do it is because they figure you won't,
Again, he's the quarterback, and he's going to kick it.
Yep.
Tyler Flippin was the starting quarterback until this week.
Well, it worked out pretty good right there. A couple of the others didn't work out so hot. Well, I tell you what, they found their quarterback. It didn't take, a half or last week or whatever it took last week and what he's done today.
You're right.
Two best teams in the conference along with Carson Newman probably for the coming up in the fall.
I'd like to thank Custom Design Group, the official apparel provider of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics again this year. You can check them out at lrwear.com. If you join the Gridiron Club, they send you some gear, Lenoir-Rhyne gear, presented by Custom Design Group. Our buddy John Worley works for that group. Play action, rollout. Grayson.
Drag.
I like that. That's one of my favorite plays.
Hit that drag guy across the middle.
Yes, it is. A little bootleg action, and first down goes to Lester. Pickup of 12.
So many ways to run it, too, because they had a wide receiver on that side of the field, and then they had a tight end kind of slip out, into the flat like the fullback does sometimes, and then he hit the drag from the other wide receiver coming across the field.
And after he got hit, Lester refused to go down, and he just got a couple of extra yardage.
Yeah. And once again, Grayson, he just seems so at home when he has a play action because he knows exactly where to look. And you may go levels, you may go short, middle, deep, but it's all on the same side of the field, and it makes it easy to pick out what you're going to do.
So a loss of 1. What McGee had coming into the fourth quarter, it was well over 100 yards, right? The freshman running back?
Yes, I
was
believe.
that 130 yards or so?
He had 22 carries, 135. Well, actually 129. They kept crediting him with 6 yards of loss.
Second down. Grayson, quick pass over here to Lester.
Well, that was a neat route. We've been throwing that slant off that same fake, and he ran the slant and then stopped, planted, and went back to the outside. Give credit to the defensive back. I'm probably a freshman. Most of them are. You can tell by looking at that kid. He looks like he's in junior high. I'll tell you one thing. He did a good job of covering. Lester made a great move.
Ralph Mangum, the public address announcer, booming voice, telling us it's 3rd and 7. And a pass is complete. That's
he gained about 5.
It's short of the first down. You're right. It's Ryan Carter on the completion.
Yeah. He gained 5, needed 7, so he got to punt it. We hadn't punted in a while. The last punt we had was that running to the right shank.
One of our buddies made a good point to me, Jack. Seems like the quarterback for Barton can only really throw the ball when he's got guys hanging all over him.
I'll tell you, he's made some really good throws. He's two of the best plays I've seen in a long time today. Oh, here we go.
Got into that one.
Well, now that was the run into the right and hit it solid. Good job there. He ran to his right, but see, the ball was on this side of the field. When the ball's on the boundary and you run to that side, you can't afford to miss it. You don't have any room to play with. You really have to aim down the hash mark because it's going to come off the side of your foot a little bit and give yourself some room for that. He had the whole field, half the field to work with there, and he just busted it. That was a great punt by Michael Owen.
Good tackle that time by tight end Will Neal down on the special teams.
Yep.
Out of Charlotte Catholic High School. Threw down his man, 20-yard line.
We've had good special teams the last few years, and we've had good kickers, and that'll be vital the rest of this year and, of course, in the fall. We need good kickers. Uh-oh.
Flag down. A couple of stiff arms over there, and looks like one of the Bear players are going to get called on a penalty. Chris Bailey, a linebacker, made the stop.
Could it be a face mask? We'll see. Because it came awful quick. When almost on first contact, the flag came out. That might be a face mask. We'll see. I'm not used to having replay, and I looked down and the play was over.
37-13.
We've got you've complimented our crew, but I'll tell you what, This is like heaven, seeing some of the things we got today that we've never had.
Yeah. So personal foul will go against LR.
He didn't show face mask, did he? He just called personal foul? I didn't see the face mask signal. Maybe I missed it.
Keep it on the ground. 1 yard gain. Terrell on the carry.
There's been a couple of plays where they've run that up inside with Terrell, and he's got he got a little bit of yardage, but for the most part, the only reason you run that, keep running it, is just like we used to do, and Coach Jacobs does the same. You got to run it in there every once in a while to make that defense realize you will run it in there.
And he'll run it in there again. Nathaniel Isaac is another defensive lineman. He's been playing as a freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida. I don't want to pronounce his high school because looks like it's an Indian name, and I would probably not give it justice.
Topacalaga.
Close enough.
Call some of my friends down in Florida and ask them what
Okay. But the Bears must have a little connection on the recruiting trail there at Kissimmee, because that's where McGee is from, the running back. Third down now for Barton.
Wow.
Throw, catch, caught, first down.
Hey, I'm telling you, that kid can spin it. He can really spin the football. Looking at number 30, Andre Jefferson, a freshman's in there, defensive tackle, number 32.
Yeah.
You know, they used to be, if a guy had 32, he was a fullback. Now he could play anywhere.
That's right. Jaquan Artis had that same number for the Bears over the last 3 or 4 years. I think he's the all-time leader in sacks for LR. Jaquan Artis was. Graduated 2019. Running play. He'll get the corner, seal the edge, run for a first down, goes Terrell. He's over 200 pounds. He's only 5'9", 205 pounds, and has a little burst of speed. And now Barton has it inside the Bear 40.
Yeah, John Ross Mays coming back in the game. I was trying to get some of these numbers. There's a lot of guys on that front line now, like you talked about Isaac.
Quick pass over here, caught again.
Isaac's in there.
Johnson on the reception for Barton. This is probably
98 Yelding now. Yelding, we know that name.
Yeah, he started for the Bears in place of Dan Luba, who did not start today, the two-time all-conference lineman for LR, out with an injury.
But, I'm not sure in the secondary. Eric Jackson's been out for a while. They might be just, they might just be holding him out, they might be wanting to take a good look at somebody else there playing safety.
That running play netted maybe 1 yard. It's 3rd and 4 now.
It's 24. Is that Palmer? Yeah, J.P. Palmer. And it looks like that's number 30, Malik Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malik Taylor's a veteran.
Started last year after the injury to Kyle Duggar in the secondary.
He's in that. He's in there to other safety spot.
Third down. Quarterback bobbles it, and the Bears get pressure, and down he goes.
Wow. I was watching Malik Taylor covering this guy. He got up, and Malik just about slipped, and he just tackled the guy. I can't. Of course, they didn't get the pass off, so but that's holding it. He just flat tackled him.
Jordan Holmes on the, I believe, the sack, the freshman out of Savannah, Georgia, Beach High School. So it's 4th down for Barton. They'll go for it here. We're down to about 8 minutes to go here in the ball game. Bears on top comfortably, 37-13.
Am I wrong? 34-13 at half. We scored 3 points this half.
That's it. And it was 17-13 at one point before the Bears ran off 17 consecutive points in that second quarter. We'll keep it right here. You want to get we'll get a stat update in just a second, but I want to mention some of our fine sponsors. Southeast Retirement Planners, part of the Bears Sports Network again this year. What is your game plan to reach your financial goals? We invite you to call a couple of LR alums, Ryan Edwards, Les Stewart, Bob Fincher. Get your game plan in place at Southeast Retirement Planners. Proud sponsors of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics, along with Carolina West Wireless. Proud to be the official wireless provider of the Bears again this year. Our stats are being brought to you by McDonald's. as we are in a timeout here with the Bears on top. See if I can block off the sun.
Soon as I get them back, I'll give them to you.
We do know McGee, the freshman running back for LR, has had a fine game, well over 100 yards rushing, and that has helped Lenoir-Rhyne's offense. Grayson Willingham has thrown the ball pretty well, a couple of touchdown passes as well this afternoon.
Timeout went quickly, and we're back to action.
4th down. Pass caught, 1st down. Stepped up in the pocket, and he threw it over there to the receiver who caught it inside the 30-yard line. So nice throw and catch by Byers on the reception. Good pass protection, too.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They just ran an inside receiver to the out, just beyond the markers. Oh, man.
Incomplete.
Sometimes that's the hardest pass to throw is that little screen pass. You usually have to throw it over somebody and drop it to a guy, and he just overshot him just a little bit.
That'll stop the clock with 7.5 to go in this ball game. Shadows creeping in here at Moret Stadium.
They did turn the lights on, but I think with 7 minutes, we're going to make it before sundown.
Quarterback draw. It looked like he was going to try to throw it, but the quarterback did keep it that time. And
yeah, that was a. I'm going to run the draw. Yeah,
I'm going to do some research. The last time you saw a quarterback wear the number 0,
been a while. I don't remember right off the top of my head any prominent quarterbacks that ever wore the 0.
College or pro, yeah. Warren Moon wore number 1.
He wore 1. Yeah, that's exactly the guy I was thinking of. Wow, what a
nice throw, complete inside the 10 for the 1st down. Blanding on the stop for the Bears, but not before another reception by Johnson.
Now you got to believe, or hopefully, if you're the Bear defensive people, you're hoping that you get Houston and our main pass rusher probably is Luba. You get Houston and Luba back in there at the same time, they won't have that much time. But this kid is just throwing the ball exceptionally well, and they're getting receivers open.
Check that. Adams on the reception. This time Terrell inside the 5. Nearly got in the end zone, down to the 1. Palmer on the stop for the Bears. They'll put it at the 2. 2nd down and goal here. Bears stand him up again.
Took the ball away from him. Bears got it. Bears
I was
just
going to say, had a bunch of turnovers last week.
Yeah, they
3
had
turnovers and got one here right now.
Yeah, they had him stopped, and while he was stood up, the guy, they just took the ball away from him. I'm not sure, it shouldn't have been a whistle to stop the play, but he was still trying to gain yardage, and they let the play go, and they just stripped him.
You're right. Watch it again.
See?
Taylor with the strip and the recovery.
Yep.
Malik Taylor.
I think John Ross May, I'm not sure, but no, John Ross May came in late. 28, Preston Joseph, right? Preston Joseph made the original tackle.
And then Taylor came in and scooped it away from him. This is McGee with the stretch play. And he'll get it out of bounds in front of the Barton bench. That should put him close to 150 yards on the ground. That's a pickup of about 20.
That's what happens, too, when you have a play like that.
That'll put it up to the 29.
That turnover on the 1 yard line. I mean, that's something that'll be deflating for a while.
Back to pass. They'll flip it out here to McGee again. Tries to set up his blockers. He'll get it over the 30 to the 32. That's a gain of 3. Nice safe pass. There's an update for you guys. Thank you. 23 carries, 151 yards. Last week he had 160 on 30 carries. So he's having a great game to start a great start to his LR career for sure. Over 300 yards in 2 games.
interesting. Now, 5 minutes to go. I don't think the Bears are going to let up because they still got McGee in there. They still got Willingham in there. You know, this is pretty much – I think Coach is wanting to see a little bit more out of everybody here.
Yeah. They've kept their starters in there.
Yep.
Isaac Chapman, the Taylorsville High School product out of Alexander Central. At right guard, number 71 is in there. And you see some of the others, the tight end for LR.
Brinson's a starter, 4-year starter, probably 3-year starter probably. He's still in there.
You see him, number 61. 42
is. You said Isaac Chapman.
Yeah, 71.
Yep.
Cody Osborne, you saw him,
center,
number 42.
54, that's still Blake Jefferson still at center. That's pretty much the offensive line that started the game right there.
And Bell now in at fullback, and he'll get the handoff.
Boy, I'm telling you what, woo! That may be the worst play the Bears have run all day. He didn't hardly get out of his tracks and he was hit.
96 was Brandon Jackson on the tackle.
When you have an inexperienced team like Barton has, with a lot of freshmen playing, and practically no senior. I thought I saw one senior on the line, and he was a transfer from somewhere. You know, but when that happens, you're going to play games like this where you're going to have those times where you look great. They've taken the ball down the field a couple of times when they got nothing out of it because of poor field goal kicking and the stop on the 1-yard line.
Good snap by the Bears. Good kick by Owen. He gets a good roll out of bounds inside the 20. Jack, this year, once again, we have to name our play of the game and our player of the game. Our play of the game being brought to you by K&L Dunright. You can contact them for your latest roofing, needs, serving the Foothills area in western North Carolina since 2009. And our player of the game being brought to you by Domino's.
Well, we can do that.
And we'll do that, without a doubt. Of course, Domino's, proud sponsor of Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics. Be sure to pick up your Domino's app, or you can have your pizza delivered for your next game day watch party. Domino's, official sponsor of the Bears, and Bear Bucks as well.
Willingham's 22 out of 27 for 310, 2 touchdowns. Lester caught 8 passes for 144 yards and a touchdown. John Ross May, 10 total tackles, 7 solo, and has 3 tackles for loss. And Dwayne McGee, obviously. Let me get to his rushing stats. There it is. 24 carries, 156. 2 touchdowns. So we got 3 pretty good people right there to choose from.
Yes, we do. And about a play of the game. We'll have to think about that. We got 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So Lenoir-Rhyne's women's softball team swept a doubleheader today against Mars Hill. They won the second game 5-4 in 9 innings.
Wow, came from behind.
Congratulations. Sheena Holler's team.
Look at
pass
this.
Down the field.
He underthrew him.
Intercepted by the Bears.
Who is it? 17.
Yeah,
Man.
Percy King.
All right. I'll tell you what, that kid right there, he's something else. He has made some big plays for the Bears.
He's been a turnover-making machine, right?
I tell you, is
that his second interception today?
Yeah, he's the one that made the one in the end. And now that was just a poor throw. He got a guy wide open, and he just flat underthrew him.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid, no pressure on him. That kid was wide open. That was the only really huge, terrible bad throw he's made all day.
Maybe the Bears shouldn't have to. Maybe they shouldn't rush the quarterback.
I don't know.
I mean, when he's had
some
guys
of the quarterbacks we'll see next fall and even next week.
Here's McGee. He's over 160, and he's well over 160.
Yeah,
that'll put him close to
12 yards.
Yeah,
11 or 12 yards, depending on what they credit on that.
And a first down at the 25. So he eclipses his mark of a week ago where he had 160 on 30 carries. That's carry 27, and that should put him at about 162 yards. No, more than that, 56, 60, 172 yards. Close. First and 10, ball's at the 25. Tight end Neal goes in motion, gets a block. This time McGee stood up, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Down under 3 minutes to go in this game.
I got 25 carries, 167.
Okay. So Mike Jacobs will go 2-0 in his start as LR coach. I think there's only been one other head coach in his first year to go 2-0. And that was Ian Shields back in 2014.
Yeah. I started to say because, you know,
Mike
Chronic started off with that tough loss down at West Alabama.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we went, 14-0 before we lost?
13-0.
Yeah. No, it was 12-0.
13-0.
You know, we lost. I thought we lost the first round playoff game in 14.
Oh, 14. Yeah,
That's
we
when
went.
Shields-
We went 11-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that on the thing on his foot there? See on the.
And there's McGee with another run.
You recognize him?
I do not know. I think that's one of the linemen. Bear lineman. I don't know if it was a starter or what.
Yeah,
and maybe Luba. That's Dan Luba.
That's not good. That doesn't look like he's going to play next week.
There's a handoff. McGee, he'll get in the end zone. Another great run.
Here's another example.
By the true freshman running back.
You just watch what he does here. He's not going anywhere. He starts out where the play is designed to go. Watch this. See where they're blocking over there? And then he goes the other way. He saw that with his eyes. That's what I talk about, running with his eyes. He saw that. His vision peripherally, side-to-side vision is so good. When he saw it, he just cut back. The play was designed to go to the right, and he went back to the left.
So another touchdown by Dwayne McGee. Career high in rushing today.
That may have cinched him Player of the Week.
May have. And an extra point, I believe, not Elbaugh. That was somebody different. And the
96.
Bears are
96.
Yeah, it was. 96 is Adam Gast out of Alexander Central High School, Taylorsville, North Carolina product. We'll keep it right here with a minute
junior.
Yep. 1:19 to go in the game. Bears now lead 44-13.
29 carries, 192. 3 touchdowns.
Our Domino's player of the game, Grayson Willingham. His fine performance, first start of the new season, missing last week. I talked with Grayson a couple of times, and he was very frustrated, Jack, because of the COVID situation. Okay, here's some plays.
Yeah, this was my play of the game right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that I thought that one really stuck out for the Bears right there.
DeAndre Lester on the reception.
Yep, play of the game.
That's the play of the game. And here's the kick. It wasn't the player of the game, but the play of the game.
The play of the game. Uh-oh.
Brought to you by Domino's. And here's another big play by Barton on the return. That's the receiver.
Yep, number 10. Same guy they've had back there.
Cameron Johnson on the return into LR territory at the 38.
I tell you, that ball bounced, and when it bounced, he thought the guy was backing up to catch it, and it just bounced high enough that he could grab it and go. And, man, what a good run after that.
A lot of freshmen on that kickoff team. I think they lost contain, lost their lane, got out of their lanes.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take much when your ball's near a boundary like that.
Yeah.
Because they don't have as many people over there. So, if they try to come up the middle, you can collapse from both sides.
There's a keeper by the former number 1 quarterback. That time is Tyler Flippin.
Flippin, yeah.
He picked up a first down. Under a minute to go, Bears are going to win their game to improve to 2-0 and win what I believe is their 23rd consecutive regular season game. 12 in a row here at Moret Stadium. Flipping on the keeper again.
Oh.
Tripped up that time by Joseph. Saved a touchdown, perhaps. Preston Joseph inside the 20-yard line.
Jaquan Lynch wound up with 17 out of 26 for 242. 1 touchdown.
They may have found themselves a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's the way he throws the football and can run with it too. And there's another bobble of a snap. See, every time you bobble that snap back there, I don't know if that's the center's fault or the quarterback. When you bobble that snap, boy, and you're running the spread offense, there's a lot of timing involved. And when you bobble, especially when you're riding like they are, riding and he's reading because he's either going to keep it or he's going to hand it off, and he's got to make that decision.
I believe, Jack, the Bears are idle next week in football.
They are. That's right.
They play
Wingate in 2 weeks.
Wingate on a Friday, on Good Friday.
Yep.
They travel to Wingate to play, and Wingate was, I believe, undefeated, and the Bears are now 2-0, and their final game back here between the Bricks on April the 10th, I believe, against Catawba.
Wingate Stadium is now the easiest stadium to get to from Hickory. You go down the new toll road.
485.
You get on 485 go into like you're going into Monroe, and the toll road's right there. You get on that toll road and go down there about 7 or 8 miles, whatever it is, and the stadium sits right there on that toll road.
No back roads for
Nope.
us?
You exit and you're right there.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I saw a lot of places I'd never seen before the last few times.
Oh.
Incomplete. We saw the back roads, and we saw.
We went all. Yeah, we had the navigation set on that one. 6 seconds to go. We got one more play, Juju.
Okay, let's look at the replay again. Flipping
Watch this
that lane.
kid. He's wide open. Look at this. Boom, right in the hands. I'll tell you, the quarterbacks for Barton, both of them have not had some help a couple of times.
That was a flipping good throw by Flippin.
That was a flipping good throw. I agree.
Last play of the game.
Hopefully.
Flippin will take a drop, fired over here. No, we got one more play. 1 second to go. No, that's it. Clock will go to zeros.
Smart. Let that run out. We don't need another play.
44-13. So Mike Jacobs, head coach for the Bears, and his team will head to the locker room immediately. Give their wishes to Barton and Chip Hester, their veteran head coach. And so Jacobs will go to 44-8 as a head coach in college. 2-0 as an LR Bear mentor as the Bears improve to 2-0 with a 44-13 win here this afternoon. Let's give you some stats, all brought to you by McDonald's.
Oh, okay. First downs, the Bears picked up 27 first downs, and Barton picked up 21. That's an excellent day for the Barton. The Bears had 37 rushes, 201 yards. Barton had 43 rushes for 142. Passing yards went the favor of the Bears with 310, all from Grayson Willingham. And the Barton had 242. I guess all of that came from Lynch. And then the penalties were very limited, both teams. That's a good thing. 5 for 47 for the Bears, 4 for 35 for Barton. Possession time was almost equal, 2 seconds difference. 29-28 for the Bears, 30-32. Okay? Take 2 off of theirs and give it to us, and you got a dead even 30-30. How about that?
I don't know if I've ever seen it that close before.
Third down conversions. The Bears were not real good, nor were Barton, but Barton was 7 of 16. The Bears were only 3 of 9, so that's not a great, not great to talk about as far as conversions.
Again, these stats are brought to you by East Coast Wings Grill, located in Hickory there off Highway 70. And again, for the second straight week, the Bears rushed for over 200 yards in victory. Let's give you some of the individual stats here this afternoon as Lenoir-Rhyne comes away victorious.
Dwayne
I got
McGee.
his son here.
Dwayne McGee, 29 rushes, 192, 3 touchdowns. Great ball game again for McGee. DeAndre Lester. Where am I looking at? Oh, receiving. DeAndre Lester, 9 targets, 8 catches, 144. 1 touchdown. Ryan Carter, 4 targets, 3 catches, 41 yards. And Kellen Parsons, 2 catches for 27 yards. Michael Owen punted 4 times for 155. He went up 10 yards in the second half on his punting average. He got off a great punt there. That jacked his average right up. John Ross May, 7 tackles, unassisted, 3 assisted, 10 tackles. That's pretty doggone good. You go double-digit tackles in your first 2 games playing in college. That's pretty good. Preston Joseph had 7 total tackles, and Andre Jefferson had 6. J.P. Palmer had 6, 5 of those unassisted. Jordan Terrell Rushing, 25 rushes, 96 yards, the quarterback. Jordan Terrell is the running back. Jaquan Lynch, the quarterback, had 12 rushes for 56, lost 24, so the sacks really hurt him. He came out with a total of 32 yards. Lynch was 17 of 26 with 3 interceptions, 242, and 2 of those interceptions were really one he just threw up with an opportunity, wasn't bad, and the other one bounced off a guy's shoulder pads, and then the third one was a terrible throw. So, I mean, he had the whole thing covered there. Tyler Flippin punted 3 times for a 29-yard average because he had at least one block, may have had 2 blocks. He had at least one where he kicked his own man. And their leading tackler was Brandon Jackson. He had 3 unassisted, 5 assists for 8 total, along with Darnell Johnson, 5 unassisted and 3 assisted for 8 total. So the Bears, come away with a nice win, but, it wasn't exactly pretty. It wasn't exactly what the Bears were hoping for, but a win is a win is a win. We'll take it.
Yeah, 23rd straight consecutive regular season win for LR, including 12 straight here at Moret Stadium. So the Bears with the win today, and will have the week off idle next week before returning to action at Wingate. I believe that's a Friday night game. That game is Friday on Good Friday before Easter weekend. Time to name our player of the game. Are we going to do that? All brought to you by Domino's. We ready for the player of the game? Jack, I'll let you do the omina.
Grayson Willingham.
That should be the play of the game.
Oh, no, it says the player of the game.
Okay, player of the game should be Domino's, but play of the game is K&L Dunright. And I think the play of the game was Willingham's touchdown pass. But I'll give you the honors of doing the player of the game.
Dwayne McGee was the guy that I thought. I thought Willingham had a great ball game. Dwayne McGee and Deion Lester all had great ball games, all of those. But McGee had 198 yards. Well, they lost 692 yards rushing. Pretty strong performance for a freshman.
Average over 6 yards a carry, and his LR career has rushed for well over 300 yards now in just 2 games, 190 plus and 160. So that's, 350 yards.
Yep.
Already averaging about 175 yards a game in his first 2 games in his LR career. And Mike Jacobs, when he was hired as head coach, and the few times that we talked to him, mentioned that he wanted to be a ground-oriented. He mentioned to have a violent running game. And we've seen that, saw it today for the first time in person. The Bears grounded out today over 200 yards on the ground, with McGee getting close to 200 himself.
Yeah, and I tell you what, McGee really helps the offense because those blockers don't have to sustain their blocks as long as they might for a power type situation. But with the zone blocking schemes that they use, the Bears have been able to use McGee's talent, which is see and move here and there and quick and make the cuts, make the plays. And I tell you, he's an outstanding running back. And in 2 weeks against Wingate, it's going to be a different story. I think they'll be the best team by far that we see until we make the playoffs, hopefully. But Wingate's got a real good football team, and we know we've played them in the past, and they've got revenge on their minds, I'm sure. They've had some real tough losses over the last 4 or 5 years up here. So the Bears will just have to, improve a little bit. I hope Dan Luba can play in that ball game. Missing those guys up front really made a difference for us defensively.
Yeah. Who caught the pass today in between those 2 guys on the long touchdown pass? Was that
Lester, wasn't it?
Was that? It may have been Lester. It was either he or Parsons. But he made a nice catch, and that was an excellent play as well on one of the plays early in that football game that Willingham connected with. And that was a big play as well. But LR came up with enough big plays today. They grounded out. Running game was very impressive today. And, again, McGee, the freshman running back. One thing that LR also stayed away with that they saw last week, they didn't have as many turnovers today.
Yeah. Well, anytime you play a football game and have, did we have 1 fumble?
I think so.
Yeah. And I don't think we had an interception that I could remember. You see fumbles lost. Yeah, we had 1. No, Barton had 1. We had 0.
Okay.
We fumbled 1 time and got it back. and had no interceptions. So 0 turnovers. Anytime you have 0 turnovers, you got a much better chance to win any football game. And particularly when, our opponent in 2 weeks, we play somebody as good as Wingate is, that will be a non-turnover game to really help either team when you come to that one.
Appreciate you watching us here this afternoon as Lenoir-Rhyne improves to 2-0 on the spring season with a 44-13 win over Barton College. We'll join you again coming up in a few weeks. Our next home game against Catawba College, and that'll be April the 10th as the Bears wind up on homecoming this shortened 2021 season. LR will next be in action, though, on Good Friday, as you said, traveling to Wingate to take on the Wingate Bulldogs. But the Bears are winner today before their home debut for head coach Mike Jacobs and company. They win it 44-13. For our entire crew here, thank you for joining us. I'm Juju Phillips, along with my broadcast partner Jack Huss, saying until next time, so long, everybody. You've been listening and watching the Bears Sports Network, presented by MBA Roofing.